All right, welcome everybody to episode 32 of the Below the Yellow Line podcast. I'm your host, Joe Landy Pavlon. Justin and Blake will be with us tonight. Armani could not make it, but he, of course, is with us in spirit. He'll be back hopefully by next week.
Yep.
And we have the return of Austin LaPlante. Well, should I say Chef Austin? He's cooking dinner right now.
Yep.
So, this race weekend was hectic. We had a lot to watch. There's so much to talk about, including the incredible performance of Denny Hamlin, Craig Lowndes showing true colors in the Sandown 500. We saw Rebellion pulling a Cinderella story, somewhat controversial at the 4 Hours of Shanghai. And the final fours are set for NASCAR. So without further ado, let's get started. We'll begin with the NASCAR Monster Energy Cup Series for the Phoenix 500 kilometers, which was the final race in the round of 8 and round 35 of the 2019 Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series. The NASCAR Xfinity Series Phoenix 200 was also in place this weekend for their second to last race. And the Truck Series had the Lucas Oil 150. So all three NASCAR's top series have their final four set and ready to go. Supercars made their trip to the Sandown 500 in Melbourne, Victoria. And the WEC made the 4 Hours of Shanghai. A very controversial yet interesting race. There's a lot to talk about. I have an itchy nose, and my nose will not let me be. Okay. We have more races that we'll get into further, including the West Series and IMSA Encore. But for now, it's time for the NASCAR Monster Energy Cup Series, the Phoenix 500 kilometers. Denny Hamlin dominated this race. He led 143 laps, started third, won stage 1, and scored his second win at Phoenix, 6th of 2019, and 37th of all time.
Yep.
That win places the number 11 FedEx Toyota and the driver from Chesterfield, Virginia, into the championship for this upcoming weekend. Kyle Busch finished second. He led 69 laps, started on the pole, and you'll see him in the final four this weekend as well. That makes up 2 of 3 Joe Gibbs cars. Ryan Blaney finished third. He's the highest driver not to make the final four, and they'll leave the round of 8. And he started 10th. He did not lead any laps. Kyle Larson finished 4th. Larson started 5th. He finished 4th and did not make it through the round of 8. Kevin Harvick made it through the final four with that win last week at Texas Motor Speedway. He started in the 7th place. He finished in 5th. Martin Truex Jr., who won at Martinsville, the third of 3 drivers from Joe Gibbs Racing to make the final four, started 4th, finished 6th. Eric Jones finished in 7th place after rolling 9th off the grid. 8th place, Clint Bowyer started 13th. 9th place was Joey Logano, who was eliminated from the round of 8. He led 93 laps, won stage 2, and started 2nd. In 10th place was Brad Keselowski, who led 3 laps and started 12th. The notables I listed down on the bottom, I have Jimmy Johnson. Johnson started 22nd and finished 14th. And Chase Elliott, last place, 39th. He retired on lap 165 after a crash in turn 3 with a blown tire. All right, guys, let's talk about it.
That was turn 1, by the way.
Turn 1. I keep forgetting about the old, the new layout.
Yeah, that was, Chase Elliott had a blown tire. Before the stage 2 end, there was contact with him and Denny Hamlin. That race, people thought at the beginning Kyle Busch was going to pull away from the field and not look back. Well, that did not happen. Well, people thought he was going to pull away and dominate. Well, no, it did not happen in stage one. Denny Hamlin got the stage one. Stage two, Logano was good. But that last stage, Logano fell back. He fell back. His car would not handle well. He
I mean,
said that,
he didn't just get past. He got lapped in that same green flag run.
yeah, his car was not functioning well.
Yeah,
Like,
something went wrong there.
I think the handling got
yeah,
better of him because remember at Phoenix, this is a driver's racetrack, and sometimes you have to shift gears to get that acceleration off the final corner,
yeah,
or even on the dog leg. And yet Logano's tires were falling off in that run when Hamlin
yeah.
took the lead. And
his car was loose. His car was so loose in the entries, he couldn't keep the power down. He kept getting sideways, and which also about that, which people, we thought, oh, the race is gonna end in agreement. People think NASCAR threw out a caution on purpose, which that's kind of false because I saw John R. Nemechek's brake rotor fly off the car in turn one. In turn one, he blew a tire, which I saw the brake rotor slide up the track. I'm like, okay, a brake rotor, yes, you don't want to hit that. That's going to literally cause issues. So, just saying for the people that thought NASCAR brought out the caution, no, that was Nemechek's brake rotor broke off the car when he hit the wall.
Debris on the racetrack, especially a brake rotor, is a big issue.
Yeah, a brake rotor that's really heavy, you do not want to hit that.
I mean, that's a big piece of metal. That can do some damage and cause absolute mayhem. You don't want that.
Yeah. And that's the reason the caution came out. And then Denny Hamlin bit that 2 times.
Hamlin, that last restart, everyone thought, okay, he's done.
Yeah, 2 tires.
There's no way.
Yeah, but nope. He held on and won over teammate Kyle Busch. And I remember at the end, before the white flag, before the white flag came out, Kyle Larson was flying on the outside.
Oh, yeah.
He was like in 8th and he finished 4th. He was flying up there, which he finished 4th, not enough to make it, but good win for Denny Hamlin, that 11 team.
So wait, I'm sorry, Justin, you wanted to say something?
I was saying about that Denny Hamlin, with that win, will be in the Final Four this weekend at Homestead.
Yeah. Let's just for just a minute. Let's just appreciate. We all know Joey Logano fell back because of problems with his car, but in the beginning of the race, I mean, I'm looking at the stats here. He led 93 laps, which is still a very good drive.
Second most of the race. We had 3 significant leaders. The other 2 were Kyle Busch. He led 69 laps, and 143 laps, of course, was won by winner Denny Hamlin. And Logano did win stage 2, so he had the car to beat. It just, I don't know, it just came apart. You don't usually see that from a driver that's racing so well.
Yeah.
But yeah, his quest to defend the championship from last year is over as a result. So without further ado, let's get into the playoffs, as there is only 1 race remaining and the 4 last drivers are in. Denny Hamlin, with this win at Phoenix yesterday, places his mark into the Final Four for the second time of his career. We'll get in depth with these drivers a little bit later in the podcast when we get into our feature. But he got in through winning yesterday at Phoenix, and that's his second Final Four appearance since the inception in 2014. Kevin Harvick, the 2014 champion, will reappear in the Final Four. This is his 5th.
Yep, the only year he did not make it was 2016. All the other years, he's been in that Final Four.
So he's made in 5 of the last 6 Final Four appearances. Kevin Harvick looking for championship number 2. Now, mind you, Denny Hamlin has never won a title in his 14-plus years of professional stock car racing, while Kevin Harvick only won it once in 2014. Martin Truex Jr. won the title 2 years ago, driving for Barney Visser's Furniture Road team in number 78. He's now in Joe Gibbs Racing with the same crew chief and now a different team. He got in with the win at Martinsville,
Yep.
looking for title number 2. And also looking for championship number 2 is Kyle Busch, who won the title in 2015. Say what you want. He's still on the title. And he got in off points. So, yeah, this round we got 3 different winners in the round of 8 that won.
Yep.
So there you have it. Now, here's the drivers who fell short, starting with Joey Logano, obviously, Kyle Larson, Ryan Blaney, and Chase Elliott.
Yep.
So we will continue on with our Homestead talks later. But that's the next race for the Monster Energy Cup Series.
Yep.
Now on to Xfinity.
Yep.
For race 32, the second to last race of the 2019 NASCAR Xfinity season took place for the Phoenix 200. And this was breaking, just ice breaking for Justin Allgaier. He literally broke the ice and finally won in 2019, leading 85 laps and started 5th for his 11th career win.
Mm-hmm. Yep, Justin Allgaier in that 7 car, really good.
That means Allgaier will reappear in the Final Four. He didn't make it last year, but made it 2 years ago and 3 years ago. So, of course, for the NASCAR Xfinity Series, their first playoff season was 2016. And he's been in all 3 of the full-time season since then. So Justin Allgaier will be in the Final Four for Junior Motorsports. Cole Custer finished 2nd. He'll also be in the Final Four. Custer led 4 laps and started 2nd. 3rd place, Tyler Reddick will be in the Final Four. He led 3 laps, started 4th. Of course, Reddick is the reigning champion. He won the title driving for Dale Jr. in 2018. Moving on, Jean-Hunter Nemechek finished in 4th for GMS Racing. He started 13th. Zane Smith, best career finish of 5th, tying his run earlier this season in Iowa. He started in 6th. So good run. It was a great weekend for Junior Motorsports.
Yep.
6th place, Austin Cindric is the highest driver eliminated from the playoffs. He started in 7th. Justin Haley finished 7th. Chase Briscoe and Michael Lynette, 8th and 9th. They both got eliminated. While Briscoe led 14 laps and started 3rd, Michael Lynette led none at all and started 9th from the grid. And Noah Gragson, 10th place, got eliminated as well. He started 12th. Christopher Bell was the dominant car of the day. He won Stage 1 and Stage 2, led 92 laps from the pole, but a spin had to place him 16th, 1 lap down. He will be in the Final Four.
Yeah.
Any comments about Xfinity?
That was a really good race for the Xfinity Series. That was a really good race for the Xfinity Series. That was a good race. Justin Allgaier did do really well.
He led 85 laps.
Out of the 200 laps, and which people are now saying, you know about what happened last time at you know what happened with the incident with Bubba Wallace. People are saying now, why is Bell not penalized? People are think that Bell spun intentionally now.
No, he didn't.
No, he just got out of the group.
Car got away. But he will contend for the championship. Remember, he was close to winning it last year.
Yep.
But this year, he has an even greater shot. Let's get into the championship standings. Justin Allgaier with the win at Phoenix brings him into the Final Four. Christopher Bell will reappear in the Final Four with his win at Texas.
Yep.
Tyler Reddick and Cole Custer scored enough points to make their Final Four appearances. And let's talk about the drivers who got eliminated, starting with Austin Cindric, Chase Briscoe, 2 Fords and 2 Chevrolets for Junior Motorsports, Michael Lynette, and Noah Gragson.
Yep. Yep. They missed the playoffs at the next round, which Michael Annett did try. I give him credit for this season. He literally did good. In most races where we only expect him to run not good, Michael Annett in some races he's impressed me. Like Michael Annett is improving. So maybe 2020 he could make it farther. We'll see about 2020 for Michael Annett. No, Grex,
We'll get back in. What about Gregson?
like he tried, which it was his only rookie year, but he's going to be back in the 9 car next year, which we'll see how far he'll go in the 2020 season.
Well, we hope the best for all these drivers.
Yep.
We'll get more into the Final Four later on for our Xfinity race previews. Moving on. Moving on to the NASCAR Gander Outdoors Truck Series, second to last race of their 23 race tour for the Lucas Oil 150 at Phoenix, and the final race of the round of 6. Stuart Friesen scores his second win of 2019, second of his career,
Yep.
after leading 41 laps
Yep.
and started second off the grid. You'll see him in the final 4.
Yep.
Brandon Jones won stage 2, 36 laps, started 7th, will settle for second. Chandler Smith, another KPM truck in the top 5, finished 3rd. He led a lap and started 6th.
Yep.
Ben Rhodes finished 4th after leading the most laps of the race. He led 47, won stage 1, and started 4th. Grant Enfinger, teammate of Ben Rhodes, finished 5th after starting 8th. Matt Crafton finished 6th, makes the final 4 of the playoffs, started in 10th. Harrison Burton finished 7th after starting dead last due to a qualifying issue. Johnny Sauter finished 8th from 11th on the grid. Ross Chastain and Brett Moffitt make their final 4 places locked in for the playoffs, finishing 9th and 10th. Chastain started 14th, while Moffitt started 12th. And some of the notable drivers I listed include Sheldon Creed, who led 16 laps, started 3rd. Austin Hill is the highest driver eliminated from the playoffs. Started on pole, led no laps, and finished 13th. Todd Gilliland led a lap, started 9th, and finished 14th. And Tyler Ingram finished 26th. He got eliminated from the round of 6 and started 15th. So it was a very eventful truck race, despite being only 150 miles.
Yeah, that race there was stuff going on. Like, let me think. Early on in the race, remember what happened between Derek Kraus, John Hunter Nemechek, which sent Kraus in the wall. Then later in stage 3, John Hunter Nemechek gets dumped by Sam Mayer in the 21, which still there's people that hate Sam Mayer, even if I don't agree with them. Well, Sam Mayer is talented, but a bump and run happens every couple races, just saying. And also, remember, Brandon Jones did get spun out earlier in the race on lap 7 by teammate Chandler Smith in the 46, which Chandler Smith, again, in his 4 truck races, 3 top 5s, 4 top 10s, and 4 truck starts. Really good by him in that 46 truck this weekend.
That is quite impressive.
Yep, he's been doing good in this season, running part-time for Kyle Busch, and he'll be running more races next year for KBM.
Kid's got a bright future.
Yep.
But someone's bright future will be even brighter after Friday night's Truck Series race at Homestead concludes. Here are the final 4 for this year's 2019 NASCAR Gander Outdoors Truck Series. Let's start off with Stuart Friesen. He's the only driver to win to make it into the final 4.
Yep.
Can he become the first Canadian driver to win a
Ooh.
NASCAR title? Moving on, Ross Chastain is in his his best career NASCAR run in any of the top 3 series is taking place as we speak. Second in points. Brett Moffitt, last year's champion. Can he defend the title successfully and win a title for GMS Racing? Go back 3 years ago, Johnny Sauter won the championship.
Yep.
And Matt Crafton is the fourth of 4 Final Four drivers. He's the oldest of them all, and he's looking for championship number 3.
Mm-hmm.
The 2 drivers that fell short of the Final Four were Austin Hill and Tyler Ankrum, the 2 Toyotas. And we'll get into that later as we preview the Homestead races for the later portions of the podcast. Ready for supercars?
Yep.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Ooh.
All right, for the Sandown 500, this was our 14th week of the Supercars Championship for 2019 and rounds 28, 29, and 30. So rounds 28 and 29 were qualifying races. Last year they were not counted to the championship. This year they were. And how that worked was the first qualifying race is exclusive to co-drivers only, while the second qualifying race is exclusive to the main drivers. And round 30 was the classic 161 lap Sandown 500. So race 28, we had Craig Lowndes win his 109th career win.
Ooh.
He led 20 of the 20 laps. Will Brown finished second, Garth Tander third, Bryce Fullwood fourth, and Thomas Randall fifth. And on race 2 for round 29, this was for the main drivers only, another 20-lap qualifying race. Jamie Whincup, the co-driver of Craig Lowndes, scored the win.
Yep.
Andre Heimgartner, second. David Reynolds, third. Will Davison, fourth. And Scott McLaughlin, fifth. So a great performance by the AAA Red Bull Holden Racing team. Now, on to the race, the main race. For race 30, all 32, the 2019 Penrite Oil Sandown 500. We saw inclement weather heading into the race, Justin.
Yep. We did. There was weather. There was a lot of weather. There was rain and there was rain right there, and what else? There was also the right before the rain. There was what was it? And also there was track repair before the rain. Before
You got a vicious rollover by the Toyota 86.
yeah, there was a car that rolled over and landed on the back of a truck, which everybody was okay. There was no track.
That was
marks.
scary. I thought someone was hit.
And the driver was okay. Everybody was okay. After that, they had to repair the guardrail and then the weather, which was really interesting.
Yeah, that was a few curveballs thrown in there.
Yep.
On to the race. So, Jamie Whincup and Craig Lowndes scored the win. They led 107 laps, started from the pole. Put on a clean sweep. Chaz Moster and James Moffitt finished second after starting 8th. Lee Holdsworth, Thomas Randall third after starting 6th. 4th place was Fabian Coulthard, Tony D'Alberto, started 5th. And 5th place, listen to this, Scott Pye and Warren Luff started 22nd to finish 5th.
Wow.
And then you have the Davison brothers, Alex and Will, finished 6th after starting 4th. James Courtney and Jack Perkins finished 7th after starting 9th. Andre Heimgartner and Bryce Fullwood started 2nd. They finished 8th. 9th place, and let's talk about them. 9th place, Scott McLaughlin, Alexandre Premont started last, but they clinched their. But McLaughlin finished his championship clinching moment and is now a 2-time Supercars champion back to back. Well done for him.
Wait, my question. How did they start last?
Penalty.
Oh, I thought McLaughlin was that bad in
No.
race. I thought McLaughlin just finished last in that race 29 to start last.
No way that would have happened.
No, it was a
That's-
penalty. But let's talk about McLaughlin. He scored channel number 2. What a season.
Yep.
We'll get into him in a little bit later. Let's run down through the results. 10th place was DePasquale and Will Brown after starting 12th. 11th was Percat and Tim Blanchard. So they started 17th. 12th place, we had Mark Winterbottom and Steven Richards, veteran driver. They started in 14th. 13th place, we had Tim Slade and Ashley Walsh, starting 19th. 4th place, Richie Stanaway, Chris Pither. They started in the 18th position.
Yep.
Moving down the list, we had Simona Di Silvestro, Alex Rullo, 15th place after starting 11th. 16th place, we had Brody and Jake Kostecki,
Yep.
the Kostecki brothers racing, and they led 2 laps, started 7th. So much better run, but they slipped up a little in the finish. 17th place, we have Shane Van Giesbergen and Gar Tanner. We're going to get into them now because they led 51 laps, started 24th, and had a suspension failure. They led 51 laps. Or car number 97 led 51 laps.
Wow.
And the suspension broke under, I think, 15 laps to go.
Yeah,
It was a very frustrating sight to see.
They finished 2 laps down on lap 159 and 161, which at least they were not out of the race. That's the only good thing. They actually finished. They didn't finish on the lead lap, but they finished the race at least.
Moving on, the finishing order, we have Macaulay Jones and Dean Canto. They led a lap, started 20th, finished 18th. We had LeBrock and Webb, finished 19th after starting 23rd. Tom Hazelwood, Jack Smith, finished 20th after starting 10th. Cameron Waters, Michael Caruso, finished 21st. They started 13th and had a crash mid-race. 22nd place, Rick Kelly, Dale Wood. They actually were involved in the crash with Waters and Caruso. Actually, it was Dale Wood and Michael Caruso, the 2 co-drivers for the respective teams getting together. They finished in 22nd. James Golding and Richard Muscat retired from the race for Gary Rogers Motorsport, finishing 23rd. They had a driveline issue and retired from the race. 24th place retired was Gary Jacobson, Dean Fiore. They started 21st and had brake failures. And 25th place, mind you, retired from the race. Of course, we had David Reynolds and Luke Yulden. They started 3rd and crashed.
Wait, on lap 30?
Oh, never mind. The crash with Dale Wood was actually Luke Yulden, not Michael Caruso.
So, yeah, it was the 9 and the 15. Wait.
Yeah, so pardon the mistake.
Was it? My question, what was the accident? Was it contact or
Mm-hmm.
or who got into who? Was it the 15?
Dale Wood blocked
blocked
Luke Yulden and
that did not
Yulden.
go well?
Yeah, there was just a bad part of the track and could have been more cars. Luckily, it was just those 2. But we'll see more of them, of course, later on. Here's the championship standings as it stands for now. Scott McLaughlin, of course, clinched the title with 3,614 points. Second place, Shane Van Giesbergen, 3,064 points. Jamie Wincup is third with 29,068 points. Fabian Coulthard fourth with 2,791 points. And fifth place is Chaz Mostert with 2,705 points. Teams championship is still DJR Team Penske with 6,101 points over 888 Race Engineering with 5,985 points. Tickford Racing has third place in. They have 50, 15 points, while Tickford 23 Red Racing has 47, 32 points, and fifth place is Yarbus Motorsport with 45, 44 points. And their season finale is not this weekend, but next weekend for the Newcastle 500, or the 15th week of the season, and rounds 31 of 32 of the 32 race tour. So, yep, there you have it. Any thoughts about supercars?
Huh. That's interesting how it was interesting. One other thing is good that for once Fabian Coulthard's number 12 car did not finish. Usually we expect them to finish like outside the top 10, but they finished a good top 5, which is really good for that number 12 team. And DJR Team Penske has only 175 points over Triple Eight Racing in the team championship, going into Newcastle. So it's interesting. Which
So, where are you getting these stats? Because I'm on the Supercars Championship, and they said Shell V Power Racing Team first in the team's championship. Red Bull Holden Racing Team 116 points behind.
Oh, they didn't. They must have not updated that. They must have not updated that right. At one point, they'll have to update it.
But they're the same. They're the same guys in the top of the championship. Oh, and not to mention, Craig Lowndes and it's a really good pretzel. Craig Lowndes and Jamie Whincup, congratulations on winning the Pertec Enduro Cup.
Oh, that's good for them.
That was the third of 3 rounds for the Enduro Cup. Of course, Bathurst, Gold Coast, and Sandown.
One thing, Gold Coast, McLaughlin was not in that race, the main race, which there was only one race, which, remember, McLaughlin was not in that race because, he had the crash. He crashed in qualifying, so, which that was, yeah, that was really good for the Triple Eight racing team.
Hello.
How you doing?
Triple Eight Racing.
Welcome back, Armani.
I'm not going to be here for long, but I'm here for a couple reasons. Number one, people have waited long enough.
Repping the Menards.
And the Brandon Jones hat.
I'm a man of my word. I'm going to be honest. It's a pretty nice hat.
Wait, oh god.
The driver
I would
of
agree
this
with
hat
that
may be a
statement.
shit driver, but the hat is really nice. I might sell this one and get a Blaney hat if it's the same quality.
I would agree with that statement, Armani.
Also, just something else I want to mention. So, I haven't been on here for a while for one reason or another, whether it's sickness like now or work. But this Sunday, me and the boys, NASCAR Opinion, will be doing a live NASCAR by the numbers. We're both going to be at Homestead Miami Speedway. I will be rocking the hat. So you got to embrace it with pride.
Yep.
Do you think you could post any I don't know, like an interview with a driver, asking him just maybe 2-3 questions, or anything like that? Any like live stuff, like live video, anything like that for the channel?
Yeah, we should be able to. I don't see why not. It's for interviewing with drivers. I don't know how well it's gonna work. I do have a buddy, and I don't remember completely, but I think he told me a couple years ago that he's friends with the Wood brothers.
Oh,
He might just be on our next podcast show. Who knows?
Shout out to the man Marco. But if it's true, I'm gonna ask him when I feel better. Also, we lost to the Dolphins. Very conflicted about that.
For gonna buy.
Dear Colts, my boys, the Colts. I can understand you losing to the Steelers. How do you lose to the Dolphins?
Same answer the Jets. Same question the Jets are trying to answer.
Well, at least we didn't get a complete destruction. I admit.
All right, we're in a motorsport podcast,
Alright,
not a
yeah.
football podcast.
Let's
Alright,
start
yeah.
buying Paul Menard merch now. Let's rep Paul Menard merch.
That was really good pretzel.
Shut up, man, Paul Menard. All right, yeah, I just want to give you that quick update. So, you guys doing great. Hopefully, I'll be on next week. If I'm not, best of luck to y'all.
Yeah.
That was a quick little guest surprise by Armani DePaul.
Yep.
Yep,
Yeah,
thank
Be
you.
at
Armand.
Homestead. I was planning to go, but just so much happening for me
Yeah.
personally, like just school and everything, just
Yeah.
managing what I gotta do. So I'll be at Homestead in March for sure. This weekend, Armani will be there. I'll join him next time round. Austin, welcome to the podcast. We're about to get into sports car racing in just a moment. We talked about supercars, talked about NASCAR, and now it's time for the biggest sports car race of the weekend, the 4 hours of Shanghai in China, in China's most populous city, for round 3 of 8. And LMP1, this was a controversial race for many reasons. So I want to break it down in a few categories. Let's start with the LMP1 class. Rebellion won by beating the two Toyotas. They were fastest. They won the pole. They led from start to finish with the new BOP changes. So the number 8 Toyota finished second. Number 7 finished in third, while the number 5 team LNT finished in fourth, and the number 6 team LNT finished fifth. LMP2 class, my pick won the race. Joda number 38 won over the number 37 Jackie Chan DC Racing. If you remember Jackie Chan DC Racing, that's like a home advantage for them. They finished second. United Autosports finished third with the number 22. The number 36 Signatech Alpine ELF finished in fourth, the French team. And fifth place was the number 29 Racing Team Netherlands, which had to start last overall. Justin, that was your pick.
Yeah, they should have came up there, but no, they just decided like, oh, we'll stay in the back.
They started last overall, mind you. Now let's move on to LMGTE Pro. This was a controversial class. The number 51 AF Corsa Ferrari crossed the finish line first, but got disqualified after an infraction, so they got excluded from the results, moving to last in the class at sixth place. Number 92 Porsche would be credited with the win, and after getting declared the win, Porsche number 91 finished second, so a Porsche 1-2 finish.
Darn it.
The number 97 and number 95 Aston Martin Racing Vantages finished third and fourth, and the number 71 AF Corsa Ferrari finished fifth. There was only 6 cars in the class, so
Yeah.
take it as you will. And the number 51 AF Corsa Ferrari, which was unfortunately my pick,
I wish.
they finished first physically, but technically they got disqualified. And the LM, go on.
I didn't. I picked Porsche, which was right, but I picked the 91. I should have picked the 92.
Second's not bad. GTM results. I have the top 5 listed. It's number 90 TF Sport Aston Martin that won. Second place was the number 57 Team Project 1 Porsche. Third place is the number 98 Aston Martin Racing. Fourth place is the number 83 AF Corsa Ferrari. And fifth place is number 56 Team Project 1 Porsche.
How?
And my pick was, if I remember correctly, the number 77 Dempsey Proton Racing Porsche. So it was not too good for me in the picks. Honestly, my picks, they fell short. And if the regulations weren't changed, then the number 8 Toyota would have won.
Well, you know what? You know what's annoying? I picked the 57. I picked the 57 car, which I thought, oh, they're gonna be good. I don't know how the last two races, The number 90 somehow gets first, which they were not good last season, and now they're randomly finishing first, which I don't get that. I don't know how the 90 car, the TF Sport car, the TF Sport 90 car is doing so good now, and it proves it. The number 90 could win the GTE AM championship. They
Well, that's
could.
the most competitive class in all of the
Yeah.
classes in the WEC for obvious reasons.
Yeah. Who is blowing in their mic? I don't know who it is. I know it's not me. It's my
Yeah,
mic is
that's extremely distracting.
there's
Okay, so we're gonna get into the standings in just a minute. All right, LMP1 standings are pretty clear and simple. Just the number, or it's not actually no. They just do it off manufacturers. Toyota Gazoo Racing with 70 points over Rebellion Racing. They have 43 points, and Team LNT has 29 points.
yeah.
LMP2 Championship, we have Racing Team Netherlands lead. They have 51 points over Jackie Chan DC Racing with 49 points. Alpine is third with 38 points. Fourth place with 36 points is Cool Racing. And fifth place is Joda with 35 points. And of course, that's going to help them climb up with a win, right? And moving on to GT Pro standings, Porsche leads. They have 114 points over Aston Martin with 92 points and Ferrari with 55 points. In the GT-AM class, we have the number 90 TF Sport Aston Martin lead. They have 58 points, 3 points over the number 83 AF Corsa Ferrari with 55 points over the number 57 Team Project 1 with 34 points. Number 98 Aston Martin Racing with 33.5 points, and the number 70 MR Racing with 33 points. Yeah, remember you get half points in the World Endurance Championship.
I didn't even know that. I get
Kind of like
okay.
a fun back then.
Hey, by the way, now because of TF Sport, because TF Sport has been winning, I'm gonna pick them for Bahrain, which is in December. I'll pick them.
Yeah, that's their next race. Will be the 8 hours of Bahrain. It used to be a 6-hour race. It's now an 8 hours. Kind of like Shanghai. It used to be a 6-hour race. Now it's a 4-hour race. Now,
Yeah.
mind you, this is different from the next 4 hours of Shanghai. That's next
Asian-
weekend from now.
Asian Le Mans Series.
Yeah,
Yeah.
first race of the Asian Law Series. We'll talk about that later. There's a lot of racing going on in China right now, and we'll get into that later with another special upcoming race as we have just the miscellaneous event of the week, which was the NASCAR K&N Pro Series West wrapping up their 2019 campaign at Phoenix for their 14-round season. Ty Gibbs won the race. He led 38 laps. I can't read my own handwriting. He led 38 laps over Sam Mayer, who led 63 laps. Derek Kraus, Haley Deegan, and Jagger Jones finished in the top 5. And the final standings look like this. Derek Kraus locked up the title with 391 points.
391. It was like 500 something. Wait,
whatever. I'll look at it again. Jagger Jones finished second in the championship. Haley Deegan, Trevor Huddleston, and Brittany Zamora. That was your final standings for the top 5. Great season for Derek Kraus and Bill McAnally Racing. They really put on a clinic this year.
Yep. Wait, I'm checking the. Nope. I'm clicking the K&N West series. No, not random. Oh my gosh, I cannot click tabs. I was keep clicking the same thing, which was not even the right thing. Don't know why. Derek Kraus had 591 points. 49 points back with second place, Jagger Jones. Haley Deegan third, 52 points back.
Yeah.
Trevor Huddleston fourth, 57 back. And fifth place was Brittany Zamora, 101 points back. With this, Jagger Jones is the highest rookie in points, which he'll win Rookie of the Year, which Jagger Jones this season, he's been impressing me. He in 14 starts, 1 win, 8 top 5s, 11 top 10s.
I like what I see.
But Derek Kraus had 5 wins, 11 top 5s, 13 top 10s, in 14 races. He got a top 10 in every race except one race where Kraus did not get a top 10, which Kraus was just
That's highly impressive.
Kraus was dominating most of the season. Was Derek Kraus?
Well, you got to know the tables kind of turned at the start of the season. We saw more of Derek Kraus and Haley Deegan take charge in the early stage of the season, and then Derek Kraus and Jagger Jones later on. That's why Kraus was able to pull away. But if Derek Kraus returns next year to the West Series, which I hope he advances to the trucks or something, because he's beyond ready, in my opinion.
Yeah,
if he returns next year,
he's part-time.
Jagger Jones will be the biggest star. In fact, Jagger Jones will probably be a good.
Yeah,
I think it'll come down to Jagger Jones and Haley Deegan. But that's it for the West Series. Now let's move on to what's coming for the race weekend.
Yep.
I'm getting addicted to Snyder's pretzels.
4 championship weekends at Homestead.
So yeah, we'll talk about the NASCAR Cup Series finale at Homestead. NASCAR Xfinity Series has their 33 race finale at Homestead for the Ford 300 and the Ford 200 for the Truck Series on Friday night.
Yep.
F1 returns to the Interlagos circuit for the Brazilian Grand Prix race 20 of 21, and we'll have 2 other events, two sports car races actually, and 1 special event. Yes, the 24 Hours of COTA will wrap up the 2019 24H series and Circuit of the Americas, and the also special Macau Grand Prix in the island in China. Wow, this race, if you're a race fan, you have to watch Macau. We'll get into that a little bit later.
Yeah.
Let's begin with the NASCAR Cup Series. For the Ford 400 at Homestead Miami Speedway for the 36th and final race of 2019, and of course the final 4 match of the playoffs. Joey Logano took the win last year along with the title, and the first race was ran back in 1999. Tony Stewart took the win. And in fact, he has the most wins at Homestead, tied with Greg Biffle, and the other 2 drivers with multiple wins include 2 apiece, Carl Edwards and Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin will be a very important driver this weekend. We'll get into that a little bit later. Most team wins at Homestead include
surprise
Fenway Racing, Joe Gibbs Racing, Stuart Haas Racing, and Hendrick Motorsports have 2 apiece. So if a high chance that Gibbs wins this weekend, they'll actually not only have a driver win the title, but they will tie Roush with the most wins at Homestead. And the most big wins at Homestead, sorry to cut you off, Blake, I'll get to you in a minute. Ford leads that. How fitting with the Ford race sponsor. 8 wins, 5 wins for Chevy, 4 for Toyota, 2 with Pontiac, and 1 with Dodge. Blake.
Pontiac. Wow.
So,
Pontiac.
I apologize to interrupt, but we have a surprise appearance from Danny.
What
Dan the man.
up? What up? What up?
Hey.
You guys can hear me?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, good.
CC, bueno.
All right, we good.
So, yeah, we are at Homestead. This is the final 4 race, and of course, the last of 36 races of the NASCAR Monster Energy Cup Series in 2019. This will be the last edition of the final race at Homestead. Of course, with the championship realignments, they will be racing in the spring earlier in the season next year in March. I'll definitely be there live this year. Maybe not so much. I don't think I'll have it in me to make it, but I'll definitely be there next March for sure. Armani will do a special NASCAR by the Numbers show there on Sunday. He made the announcement earlier this evening of the podcast, so that's very exciting.
Yeah.
So we'll get into the race predictions and all that later. Let's move on to the NASCAR Xfinity Series for their finale of round 33. The Ford 300 at Homestead. Last year, Tyler Reddick took the win along with the championship. First race was ran in 1995, won by Dale Jarrett. Joe Nemechek has the most wins with 3 at this track, while Jeff Burton, Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski, and Matt Kenseth have 2 wins apiece. Joe Gibbs Racing has 4 wins for the most by any team at this track, while Nemco Motorsports, Roush Fenway Racing, and Team Penske have 3 apiece, and Richard Childress Racing and Junior Motorsports have 2 wins apiece. Chevy leads this event with the most wins by a manufacturer at 10. Ford has 7. Toyota 4 wins, 2 wins for Dodge, and 1 win for Pontiac.
Oh, Pontiac should have had all the wins.
All right, we'll get into the race predictions on that later. We'll just do by each 3 series, and we'll get into Formula One a little bit later.
Yeah.
The NASCAR Truck Series will race at Homestead for the Ford 200 Friday night of their 23rd and final race of the season. Brett Moffitt took the win last year along with the championship. The first race was won by Dave Rezendes in 1996, and these 2 drivers only have 2 wins at Homestead. Here's the thing: if you're looking for a first-time winner, chances are it's going to happen at Homestead because only Kyle Busch and Todd Bodine have the most wins with 2. Most team wins, it shows diversity when Kyle Busch Motorsports has only 4 wins. Ultra Motorsports has 3 victories. Germain Racing and ThorSport have 2 wins apiece. For the most make wins, Toyota leads that with 9, 5 for Ford, along with Chevy. They have 5 wins apiece, and 3 for Dodge. So let's
Dodge.
let's roll it back to the Cup Series and get into the Ford 400, the final race of the 2019 Monster Energy Cup season. Can you believe time has flown?
Time has flown. For real, man. This is
Yeah.
unreal.
Yeah. Already the last race of the season.
It feels like we've been in Texas and it just flew right to Homestead. And it's just like, here we go now. This is it. It all comes down to this.
And it does, because these guys are ready for it. And I love this Final Four. Usually, I'm not a fan of the playoffs, to be personally honest, but I feel like there's some solidarity with these 4 drivers, and not just the age number being the oldest average age of the Final Four since the era began in 2014, but because they are the most enriching drivers that can make up a Final Four. And the funny thing, there's only 2 teams out there, 3 drivers for Joe Gibbs Racing with 3 different personalities, and Kevin Harvick, who's been racing in his prime since day 1 of his career in his very 3rd race, driving under the biggest microscope anyone could ask for in NASCAR, replaced the late Dale Earnhardt. He took that and handled a challenge that many would crack under pressure, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And we're going to do a 1-by-1 feature on every single driver of the top 3 series for the Final 4 at Homestead. Then we'll make predictions. What we do is we look at the drivers 1 by 1 on every race they ran at Homestead in their respective Cup Series races. So this goes back even before, even before the Final 4 started, or even before the Homestead layout was changed in 2003. Let's kick it off with Martin Truex Jr. Truex is now in his 4th Final 4 appearance. 2015 for Furniture Row, finished 4th. 2017 won the title. In 2018 finished 2nd, and then 2019 floating question marks. We'll have to see where he finishes from there. And let's get his performances at Homestead Miami Speedway for each race. He's run 14 total. Let's kick it off back in 2004. He drove for Teresa Earnhardt, finished 32nd after a tire failure.
Ooh.
And 2006 would be a second start there. He finished 2nd after 20th. He led 27 laps. And, of course, was nowhere near the title hunt. Matt Kenseth won the race. Jimmy Johnson won the title. Same would be applied to 2007, but Martin Truex Jr. led laps there. Just only 3. Started 15th, finished 6th. Truex started 10th, finished 10th in 2008, this time leading no laps. In 2009, Truex Jr. started 14th and finished in the 9th spot for his final start with the 1 car. And 2010 would be his first race for Michael Waltrip at the track. He started 25th and finished 11th. Carl Edwards will go on to win the race, but he led 62 laps in that event. So another strong performance by MTJ. 2011 would be the first time Martin Truex Jr. qualified higher than 10th. with a second place starting spot. He led 5 laps to finish third. Tony Stewart would win the race and the title that year. 2012, Truex Jr. led 11 laps, started 7th, finished 6th. Jeff Gordon would win that race. In 2013, another great run for Martin Truex Jr. This is before we saw flashes of his career starting to blossom, right? 2013, Truex started 8th, finished 4th in his final race in the 56 car. So now he's into Furniture Row racing. And his first start was in the 10th place. He started 10th, finished 17th. And in 2015, he would make the final 4. Started 11th, finished 12th. 2016, he crashed out in that wreck with Carl Edwards, started 6th and finished in 36th place. 2017, we all know what happened. He started 2nd. He led 78 laps, Hal Finning for car number 78, and won the race and the 2017 Monster Energy Cup Series title for Barney Visser. 2018, he led 20 laps and almost could say the same about his championship, but he finished 2nd to Joey Logano, who started 3rd that race. So let's talk about MTJ. He's so solid this year.
Yep.
Yeah, man, he really has.
Yeah, he's
And
impressed me
he's
this
had-
year.
I mean, how many wins does he have? 7, right?
7.
And Harvick has 6, and Hamlin has
6.
6.
Yeah.
Yes,
Wait,
and Kyle
let me
has
check.
5. You know, going into Homestead now with the most wins, Truex is definitely somewhat have an advantage.
And to be honest, the one thing I really am impressed with looking at his stats at Homestead, it's not even the races he ran in the last few years, but that second place finish in 2006 after leading 27 laps driving for DEI, or his 62 laps led performance in 2010 despite finishing 11th. And seeing that he's very consistent on the track like that, which you need a lot of rhythm at Homestead. You can run a few lanes and don't have to settle for the same racing line. That's why I like Homestead so much. And that's why Kyle Larson, it suits him so well because he likes that top line and all that cool stuff.
I was actually checking. By the way, Martin Truex Jr.'s average start is 12th at Homestead in his whole races he's run there in the Cup Series. His average finish is 10.79. 10.79 is his average finish.
And he's
You know, that's really good.
Remarkable.
Yeah, that's a good average.
Yeah, it's you're talking about Homestead too. There's some people that are not good at Homestead. Homestead's not one of his bad racetracks. It's one of his good racetracks.
So with that said, Martin Truex Jr.'s seasonal performance in 2019 looked like this. He had 7 wins, 14 top 5s, 23 top 10s. This will be surprising. 0 poles.
Yeah.
0 poles.
Yeah, 0 poles, man.
He's so far led 1,268 laps so far. Currently sitting, of course, in the championship 4. Has an average start of 13.4, average finish of 10.0, and no DNFs.
Should flip over.
As far as actually, no, I'm reading up DNQs. My bad. But
yeah, I hope he has no.
yeah, because I know he definitely had some DNFs. But
Yes.
let's compare to the 2017 championship, where he had 8 wins, 19 top 5s, which is 5 more than what he has now. 26 top 10s, 3 over currently. 3 poles, unlike now, he has 0. And he led 2,253 laps total with an average finish of 16.8. Average start of 16.8, average finish of 19 or 9.4.
I was gonna say 19.
I mean, yeah, if he had an average finish of 19.4, he'd probably be driving DEI equipment. But yeah. But there you have it. MTJ, I mean, it's not just that he's good and good equipment at Homestead. He's good there in general. So let's move on to the next driver of the Final 4, and that is Denny Hamlin from Chesterfield, Virginia. In 2019, he has 6 wins, 19 top 5s, 23 top 10s, 3 poles. He's led 920 laps. His average start, 11.3, an average finish of 9.5. And these stats, of course, give credit. I always give credit to my source, which is racingreference.info. Now let's go into his stats at Homestead Miami Speedway. Like Martin Truex Jr., Hamlin has ran 14 past races at this circuit.
Yep.
His first race there was in 2005. Started 42nd, finished 33rd. Oh, by the way, let's just get this out of the way. Hamlin ran all races for Joe Gibbs Racing in the 11, the FedEx car. He led one lap in that race, despite finishing 33rd.
Right.
2006, in Hamlin's rookie year, he started 33rd, finished third. Of course, would settle for third in the 2006 Nextel Cup points. 2007, he finished third again. In fact, he started 32nd. So at this point, Hamlin's never started anywhere above the top 30. And
Oh, he has.
Hamlin led 19 laps. At this point, I'm just talking chronologically.
Oh.
Yeah.
They're on the pole, please.
And it's not like his qualifying runs have really been good at all here. If you look in the next race, he started 25th and finished 13th in 2008. He wasn't in the championship hunt.
2009. Well, that
His
was
first win.
2009.
But look where he started.
38th place,
Hey,
led
back.
71 laps, won the race. 2010 started 37th, running up front until he spun out with Greg Biffle, finished 14th.
Remember, Hamlin was in that championship hunt that race.
Yeah.
He was so close. And I'm sure this still haunts him to the day. 9 years go by fast, but you can have a quick memory on 2010.
2011 started 10th, finished 9th.
Okay, first time Hamlin started above the top 25. It took him 6 races at Homestead.
Yep.
That's crazy.
And then
Yeah,
after
man.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter where you start, as long as you're lucky enough and have a decent run.
20
You're going to be up there in the at least top 5 or 10.
2012 started 41st, finished 24th in 2012. 2013, his second win at Homestead, he started 5th, led 72 laps, and won the race. 2014 started 8th, finished 7th, led 50 laps.
I mean, he was in the final 4. This
Yeah,
is the
he
first
was
year.
he was also in the final 4 that time as
Yeah.
well.
2015 started on the pole, his first pole at Homestead, finished 10th, did not lead any laps. 2016 started 4th, finished 9th, did not lead any laps. 2017 start on the pole, finished 9th, led no laps in that race, finished 8th and 10th in the stages. Last year, so 2 years in a row, Denny Hamlin started on the pole last year, finished 12th, finished 6th in stage 1, 8th in stage 2, and led 41 laps.
So he's actually won pole 3 of the last 4 years. Because
Yeah.
you count 2015 as well.
Yep.
So-
Yeah.
Ain't lucky.
And his average start is 19.9 because all the wars finished. But Denny Hamlin's average finish is 10.57. 10.57.
So
is
that's
his average
decent.
finish. Good.
That's decent.
That's
My
good.
problem is his average start. It took till 2013 for Hamlin to start any position higher than 10th at this track.
Well, 10 for higher is 2011.
Yeah.
Right, but any position higher than 10th. other words.
Well, Homestead is not the easiest track to qualify at.
That's a true statement. I mean,
Yeah, that's
remember
a
you
true
look at
statement.
remember Kevin Harvick's qualifying runs at Texas were abysmal.
Yeah, the Hamlin started that.
And then
way
look at
and-
Harvick now. He's an ace at this track or at that track in Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
All right, so let's move on to the third of 4 drivers, and that would be Las Vegas, Nevada's Kyle Busch, who won the 2015 championship for you say what you want, it's still a title for Hogan's Racing.
No.
But listen, listen,
Oh,
I'm sure
God.
Kyle Busch, I wouldn't feel that satisfied winning a title like that either.
Oh
Yeah,
my
what's the
god.
Okay, but if you
Holy
look at his
shit.
performance, Kyle Busch has 5 wins from 2015. Let's just read off the stats.
No,
5
he
wins
has 1 win. He has only 1 cup win.
in 2015. I'm reading
Yeah.
off of Homestead. No,
Yeah,
at the
he's
of
reading off
his,
Homestead, yeah.
I'm going to first read off his championship stats and then his current
Oh.
stats and then
Oh.
Homestead. So
Like you're talking
2015,
about-
say what you want. He missed 11 races, but got 5 wins, 12 top 5s, 16 top 10s, a pole, led 735 laps. His average start was 8.2, average finish 10.8. So yeah, there's that. This year he has 4 wins, 16 top 5s, 26 top 10s, a pole, and he's led 1,462 laps with an average start of 12.5, average finish of 9.2. Now let's let's cruise along into his Homestead stats. Kyle Busch actually began in 2003. He withdrawn from the race,
Oh wow.
and 2004. I don't think he qualified for
Nope,
it
he
either.
did not.
So that means 2005 was his first race at Homestead,
Oh.
and he started fourth and crashed out on lap 115, finished 41st, and it didn't carry on too well in the next race either.
2006.
But he led
06.
28 laps.
Yeah, started third, finished 38th. He was running in the race. No, 2007, his final race with Hendrick. He started 18th, led a lap, and finished 20th. His first race with JGR in 2008, his first full season with JGR at Homestead. He started 8th, finished 19th, no laps led. 2009, started 30th, finished 8th, led a lap. Then we go to 2010, which he started 33rd, but got spun by Kevin Harvick, finished 32nd out of the race. 2011, started 19th, finished 23rd, led 16 laps. 2012, really good 2012
This was
race.
stellar.
He started 8th, finished 4th, and he led 191 laps in that race. In 2013, started 11th, finished 7th, led no laps. 2014, started 7th, but finished 39th. 2015, this is the race.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Busch started 3rd, led 41 laps to win his first championship and win the race at Homestead.
In 2016, he led 40. He actually led a lap in that race. Started 9th, finished 6th. 2017 fell short to the title to Martin Truex Jr. Started 3rd, led 43 laps to finish 2nd. And last year, he fell short to the title again. He finished 4th, started 2nd, led 21 laps in that race. And of total, he's led 343 laps combined with the races if he ran of the 14 times. He has a win, 4 top 5s, 7 top 10s, an average start of 11.3, an average finish of 17.4, and 2 DNFs.
Yeah, 17.43. Yeah. Kyle Busch, it's not the best stats for finishes compared to other drivers I've seen so far. Let me go. Wait, where is it?
Yeah, he seems very inconsistent.
At that. Oh, where is it? Oh my God. Oh my. Okay then. You know, people were talking about Martin Truex Jr. having good stats. We have better stats in this race. Kevin Harvick.
Now, remember, Kevin Harvick ran more races than any other driver. Let's look at his stats for the races at the Cup Series.
He has 18 races.
Hold on, let's look at his stats from his 2014 season and his 2019 season, and then we'll get to Homestead because he won a championship before. We got to take a glance back. So Kevin Harvick, then at the age of 38, he won 5 times, finished in the top 10 14 times, or top 5 14 times, top 10 20 times, 8 poles, led 2,137 laps. His average start was 9th, average finish of 12.9. Now let's move to Harvick in 2019, 43 years old, 4 wins, 14 top 5s, 25 top 10s, 6 poles, led 912 laps. His average start is 8.7, average finish 10.2. Now let's take a look at his performances at the Homestead Miami Speedway. In fact, I believe he's the only driver to race the old layout, the old version of Homestead Miami Speedway before the progressive banking, indeed 2001. And he led how many times? There you go.
He led 47 laps, started 13th, finished 7th. 2002, he started all the way back in the pack, 36th, finished 20th, led no laps. 2003, he started 6th, led 11 laps to finish 2nd place in 2003. Then you go to 2004, started 9th, finished 10th, led no laps. 2005, started 14th and finished 8th. 2006, started 7th, finished 5th without leading any laps. 2007, he started 8th, finished 19th, led no laps. 2009, started 6th, finished 3rd, led 56 laps. 2010, he started all the way back 28th and finished 3rd. really solid. 2011, started 21st, finished 8th, led 12 laps. 2012, Harvick started 23rd, finished 8th. Which, okay, 2012. 2013, his last race for Richard Childress. Started 6th, finished 10th, led 8 laps. His championship season at Homestead, his championship race, started 5th, led 54 laps to win the race and the championship. 2015, started 13th, finished 2nd, short to Kyle Busch.
He was in the Final Four that year.
Yep, finished 46 laps led. 2016, not in the championship four for the first time. Started on the pole, finished 3rd, led 79 laps. 2017, which he was in the Final Four this time. Started 9th, finished 4th, led no laps, finished 4th and 3rd in the stages. 2018 last year, he was in the Final Four. Started 12th, finished 3rd, won Stage 1, 2nd in Stage 2, led 58 laps. Which his worst finish at Homestead is 20th position in 2002. That's
But
the
that was
last
flat Homestead version
but
2.
but the last time he did not finish in the top 10 was 2007. Was the last time he did not get a top 10 at Homestead.
Those are great numbers. Even 2001 when he lived 47 laps, and then
Right.
of course Bill Elliott would go on to win the race. But Kevin Harvick was a game from the start here. It's the kind of track he does well at.
Like his average start is 12.3. His average finish is 6.56. His average finish is 6.56. Really good, solid stats for Kevin Harvick at Homestead. Harvick, he's a serious contender here at Homestead. You're going to see that 4 car most likely in the front.
I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't win the championship, but I wouldn't be surprised if he wins the championship. This is such a solid Final Four. When you looked at all these drivers, how can you compare one from the other?
Yeah.
They're so even.
You know what's crazy? You notice how I see a pattern here. That's right, and how it is right now.
Yeah.
You know how when let's start off with 2017 when Keselowski, Kyle Busch, and Kevin Harvick made the championship 4, and Martin Truex Jr. didn't have a championship. He won the championship. Now, last year, Truex Jr., Harvick, and Kyle Busch have a championship, and Logano doesn't. Logano wins the championship. Will we see the same thing happen this year with Hamlin and Kyle Busch and Truex Jr. and Harvick? This is a very interesting pattern here, guys.
Yeah, I think honestly, I can't get over those pretzels. They're so good. Listen, Denny Hamlin, I've never seen so much power in a drive that Hamlin had compared to yesterday's race. He was beyond talented, beyond enthusiastic, and most importantly, beyond determined. We know Hamlin is a determined driver. There just isn't that many golden opportunities that he's faced when it comes to winning the championship. Daytona 500, Southern 500. You move on. He's won Coke 600. He's won Talladega. He's won the 500 twice.
Yes.
All-Star race. You name it. He probably won. Oh, he won Watkins Glen. He's won everywhere.
Yeah, man.
He even won an Xfinity race at Hermanos Rodriguez in Mexico City.
Wait.
Absolutely, he's a
That was in
stellar driver.
2008, right? No.
2006, his very
Six.
first win in the Xfinity Series at one of the most odd racetracks.
Shout out to Patrick.
Absolutely stellar driver, very underrated.
42.0.
But he's never won a cup title.
He's been close. He's been really close from getting that championship. He's been
Patrick
close.
Carpentier
Has
has the worst finish.
42nd is his average.
How many
finish.
races did he run? Like 2?
He ran
Two.
1. He finished.
Oh, he won one?
He ran one race, finished 42nd.
The more you know.
The
Well-
more you know, man.
Well, Joey Gase has run 6 races there. His average finish is 32nd.
Well, that's when you drive subpar equipment, eh?
Yep, that's true.
Oh,
Yep.
All right, so there you have it for the NASCAR Cup Series Final Four predictions. Who will win the 2019 Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series title? Let's start off with Justin.
Okay, my pick for the champion. He has a good average finish. He currently drives for the Stewart Haas team. He's the only Ford.
Patrick
only-
2020 champion.
Oh god.
Armani, come back here.
By the way, about Kevin Harvick, that's my pick for the championship because he's run so solidly at Homestead, and it's been a couple years since it's been since 2014 since he's won a title. I feel like this season, with that speed, he didn't start off good until his first one came at New Hampshire this year of the season. But I feel like that number 4 car and the crew are going to build a perfect race car that's not going to break on lap 100 of the race.
And don't forget, these race cars are not immortal.
And I think Kevin Harvick will win the championship.
You know, I'm gonna have to go with Denny Hamlin. You know, like I said again, you've seen the pattern with 3 drivers who have won a championship and 1 driver in that championship 4 who doesn't have a championship. We could see the same thing with Denny Hamlin. We're definitely going to see it again. Plus the fact that he's won there twice, 2009 and 2013.
On to you, Blake.
Well, absolutely. I agree with Danny. I think Denny Hamlin.
Our Lord and Savior is back. What's up, man?
We can't hear you.
Yeah, we can't hear you, Armani.
There's nothing
How
coming
about
through.
now? How about now?
Oh, here we go.
Oh yeah, here we go.
First things first.
Ooh.
There's a cat.
Aw.
The obligatory cat.
What does the cat
picture.
have to say about the championship 4?
Oh, Patrick.
I'm pretty sure he's picking Hamlin,
From
right?
his
No?
from
Couple
from
things.
his
Couple things.
from his facial expression,
Wait, hold
I
on,
can
hold on,
tell
hold
he
on.
says
I can't
Hamlin.
hear him. I can't hear him. You were saying, Armani?
Yes, I'm picking Denny Hamlin. I picked him since New Hampshire. So I'm sticking
Okay.
with my pick. I mean, I changed my pick for the race last minute yesterday, and it worked.
Well,
That's my next question. All right, my pick will be number 18. He won
Ah.
the championship in 2015.
Oh,
It's
no.
an incomplete feeling. I don't think anyone would feel satisfied winning a title like that. And I don't think Kyle Busch is an exception to that either. He's going to be determined enough to win this championship number 2 and a much more satisfying title, to say the least. Kyle Busch will win the title.
Kyle Busch, really?
And I still want to know what that cat has to say about the championship 4 picks.
Well, I moved away from the cat, so we're not going to find out.
And it's
Ah.
From
and-
his facial expression, I think he says Hamlin.
Yes.
picked
Yeah, he did say Hamlin.
Also, I picked Denny Hamlin, number 1. Number 2, we could say this for after, like after our picks, but I have to let the man Daddy give me the roast.
Wait, you were saying Patrick? You said something about Patrick Carpentier being a 2020 champion.
This is not car.
Seriously?
This
Danny
is
knows what roast
NASCAR.
Danny, you know what roast I'm talking about.
Oh, Brandon Jones.
Jones,
Oh, what you were saying about Harvick not making the championship 4?
I picked the wrong Ford driver.
Yeah, you picked the wrong 4 driver, eh?
I warn you.
I told you right from the jump he's gonna make the championship 4.
You know what? It was so. Shut up.
well.
Wait, hold on. I got the
I still want to get to my next question. Who's going to win the Homestead 400? I mean, we can talk about the championship 4 all you want, but there's still a race.
yeah.
to be ran.
Hold on. Before you go any further, Hey Alexa, play Dead by Napalm Death. That's for you, Armani.
The greatest 1 second song ever.
Actually, it's not as fast as You Suffer by Napalm Death. Please don't kill us, YouTube, on that copyright strike, whatever
Yeah,
the hell you
please
call it.
don't.
Well, at
This
least
is
no.
we
this
know-
podcast is too good to be deleted.
at least
Yeah,
Pat-
man.
At least Patrick Carpentier is not in the race because he wouldn't do anything if his
Hey,
average.
I mean, if we're talking
Exactly.
about Cart, he would
Big
probably
boy
be better.
champion.
The fact, yeah.
Patrick
You better be ready to buy that Natalie Decker merch.
Oh
Man.
god!
Yeah, man.
Don't forget to shake her hand on Friday night if you're there. Okay, we'll
All
talk
right,
about
all right.
later.
All right,
I wanna
let's get
say
serious on
but
this.
For quote unquote child friendly purposes. I'm not gonna.
Let's
Okay.
get serious on this.
Let's talk about the race. Who will win the Ford 400 at Homestead? There's still a race to be ran. There's like, what's the math? 40 minus 4. There's 36 other drivers out there. Who is the best pick to win the race? Or did we list it? Well, I'm not saying you have to rule out the championship 4. Let's just think about the track and the race.
It's definitely a championship contender.
You never know. It could be different.
Yeah, he
Let me
could
go
be
check.
different.
I like that 42
Oh.
car.
Why did I click NASCAR truck stats? It's not the truck series.
We're not in the truck.
Yeah, man.
I'm getting.
You know,
What?
Larson is definitely.
What is airbase speed?
You can't leave Larson out. You know, he knows how to work his way around here at Homestead.
I'm just confused. Airbase Speedway's listed on here for some reason. I don't know why it's listed.
Was that the old name of Homestead? I mean, it's close to the
No.
Air Force Base.
No,
ain't it?
no,
No.
Airbase Speedway is a track that got taken down. It was near it was in Greenville, South Carolina. It was not Greenville Pickens. It was another.
Yeah.
track.
That's another track.
It ran one race in 1951.
Didn't Slab Shoes make a video on that?
Yep.
Yeah, he did.
I figure.
Yeah.
So, looking at stats for average finish, Kevin Harvick has a 2.6 in the last 5 races.
Oh, yeah, really good.
Yeah, 2.6 in the last 5 races. That is beyond impressive.
I'm just gonna get all comfy with Kyle Busch's pick.
Okay.
So pretzels are addictive.
Hey, by the way, I got my pick for the win is not a championship driver. My pick, his average finish recently is 3.5. My pick for the race win is not a champion driver. My pick for the race, Joey Logano will win the race in that 22 car, and not be bad like last race because he literally just threw it away.
My pick, Alex Bowman.
Bowman.
Bowman the showman.
There's an interesting one.
You
Yeah.
know
Bowman.
what? I'm gonna have to go if Hamlin doesn't win the race and the champ. If Hamlin doesn't win the race, then I'm gonna have to go with Larson.
No, Larson.
Larson knows how to work his way around Homestead.
Yep. And
He has an
Average-
Xfinity win in 2015.
Yep. And
Average finish at Phoenix,
Phoenix.
or sorry, Homestead
Bruh.
for for Alex Bowman is 26th.
Well, that's not a good average finish so far, but that was not his fault. Where last
This
season
is
he did not.
Homestead. This is the 2019 package.
Last year he did not
We're
do
going
good.
into the nighttime. When we go into the nighttime with this package, you basically throw all stats out the window.
Yeah, it's basically if it was last year's package.
Daylight savings time.
Last year's package, he finished 4 laps down in 30th, which that was not a good race.
No.
Last year was not a good race. Well, at least he has a better average than Joey Gase with an average finish of 39.
Well, at one point he drove similar equipment to Joey Gase in his Cup Series career.
Yep, that's true.
All right, so we have our Homestead 400 picks. Everybody has their picks. I have Kyle Busch. You have who?
Who for me?
Yeah.
Win? For me, for the win is Joey Logano.
Blake?
For the win, Harvick.
You guys are bullies.
All right, I think I got the rest for you guys too. We are going to get into the NASCAR Xfinity Series now.
Yep. I have to go find the exchange stats. Why am I?
For the Ford 300, I'm going to put those pretzels away. For the Ford 300, we had the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Of course, first race, Dale Jarrett back in 1995. Tyler Reddick won last year. Joe Nemechek has the most wins at 3 over Jeff Burton, Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski, Matt Kenseth. They all have 2 apiece. Most team wins, Joe Gibbs Racing has 4. 3 teams are tied with 3 wins. Nemco Motorsports, Roush Fenway Racing, and Team Penske. And Richard Childress Racing and Junior Motorsports have 2 wins apiece. Most make wins, Chevy has 10. Ford with 7. Toyota has 4. Dodge with 2. And Pontiac has 1. So moving on, we're going to the Final Four. We'll do what we did with the Cup Series and look at every driver one by one approach of their history at Homestead Miami Speedway. So let's I want to pull up the stats for the Xfinity Series Final Four, and we'll do it one by one. Let's start off with Christopher Bell.
Where is he on this?
He's making the Final Four
Standings again.
for the second time in his career. This year, he has 8 wins, 19 top 5s, 20 top 10s, which matches last year, 6 poles. He's led 1968 laps this season. Average start 4.2, average finish of 9.2. And let's head into his stats. Going into Homestead Miami Speedway, he's raced here only 2 times, 2017 and 2018. 2017 started 3rd, led no laps, had an engine failure on lap 78 for a 36th place finish. 2018, he started 2nd, led 9 laps to finish 11th, and finished 4th in the championship.
Yep.
All right, sorry about that. I'm back.
He's finishing 4th in the championship again. Christopher Bell's never been good at Homestead. That's the only reason he's never really been.
All right, so let's move on to the next driver, Colt Custer, who actually does have a win at Homestead. We'll get into that in just a bit. Let's look at his Xfinity stats of 2019. He has 7 victories, 16 top 5s, 23 top 10, 6 poles, which matches from last year. He's led 907 laps and has an average start of 5.7, average finish 9.2. And let's take a look at his stats at Homestead. Like I said, not Cup Series. You want to click
good.
Xfinity.
He has really good stats.
So at Homestead Miami Speedway, he has 3 starts. His first, at 2016 driving for Junior Motorsports, he started 18th, finished 17th, and didn't lead the lap. 2017, his first start with Haas.
Yeah.
Won the race from 2nd on the grid, leading 182 of the 200 laps, dominated the race. In 2018, he led 95 laps, started first, finished 2nd, and finished 2nd in the points.
And which his average start is 7th, average finish is 6.67. Really good for Cole Custer here at Homestead.
Yeah, I think Custer has a great shot to pull through and win the championship. All right, now let's move on to the next driver, which that will be Tyler Reddick, who won the championship last year. Say what you want. It was controversial, but he still won the title. A championship is a championship. And let's look at his stats this year. I don't want to compare them to last year, just to show you kind of why the chase is a controversial, or the playoffs is a controversial system. So last year, his championship season, he had 2 wins, 7 top 5s, 20 top 10s, no poles, led 184 laps, and won the championship. However, he had an average start of 11.7, average finish of 12.9. Now look at this year. he has 5 wins, 23 top 5s compared to 7 top 5s last year, 26 top 10s compared to 26 last year, 4
Wait.
poles unlike none from 2018.
Wait.
He's led 300 more laps than he had last year. He
Wait.
led 484 laps compared to 184 laps.
Wait. Did you say that he had 26 top 10s this season and last season?
Unlike last season, he had 20 last year.
You
Let's
said
move on. Reddick has, unlike last year,
Oh my God.
6.2 average start, 6.5 average finish.
Well,
And let's
For-
get into the stats he has at Homestead.
he has 2 races run. He started first in 2017, finished 4th. In 2018, he started 4th but finished first, led 44 laps last year, and led 18 laps in 2017. Average start at 2.5, average finish at 2.5. Not bad stats. Like, not that's not bad stats.
Those
for
are great stats.
really good.
I just realized he's going to run 3 different teams for 3 different cars at Homestead. He'll be driving for RCR this go around. But yeah, Tyler Reich is definitely an impressive driver to say the least at Homestead. So there you have it. I wouldn't be surprised if he wins the championship. But likewise with the other drivers, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't win the championship. This is such a tight Final Four, kind of like the Cup Series. Let's move on to Justin Allgaier. Now,
Oof.
Allgaier has made the Final Four twice.
Yep, and he's raced. He's
Actually, 2016, 2017 of the history of the playoffs in the Xfinity Series. We'll go one by one on those 2 seasons before looking at this year. So 2016, he didn't win, but he had 13 top 5s, 27 top 10s, no poles, led only 34 laps, finished third in points, his average start was 87, average start was 8.7, average finish
Oh.
9.1.
was
No,
gonna
if
say,
you don't have 100 cars in the Xfinity race.
That would be too many cars on the entry list.
All right, and let's look at 2017. He made the Final Four as well. 2 wins, 10 top 5s, 3 less than 2016. 17 top 10s, which is 10 less than 2016. 1 pole, no poles in 2016. Finished third in the points. Oh, he led 495 laps, so he definitely surpassed 34 laps being led that year.
Oh.
Average start 10.4, average finish of 13.0. Managed to rank third in the championship. And for the heck of it, let's talk about last year just briefly to show you why people are not the biggest fan of the playoffs in NASCAR. Because if you look at 2018, he had 5 wins, 17 top 5s, 24 top 10s, 1 pole, led 741 laps, ranked 7th in the championship. Average start 7.8, average finish 10.6.
Yep.
And now let's look at this here. For 2019, he has 1 win. Of course, this past weekend at Phoenix. 16 top 5s, 24 top 10s. He has no poles, but led 607 laps. Average start is 7.1, average finish 8.9. So it's a little bit better than the last 2 years. Actually, better than the last 3 years for average finish. And let's take a look at his races at Homestead in the NASCAR Xfinity Series.
He's raced, by the way, Justin Allgaier has raced 9 races. His first coming November 15th, 2008, which he started 26th, finished 28th in an accident when he drove for Penske. 2009, started 20th, finished 20th, led no laps. 2010, started 18th, finished 11th, led a lap. 2011, started 5th, finished 13th in his first season with Turner Motorsports. 2012, started 6th, finished 11th, led no laps. 2013, started 14th, finished 19th. 2016, his return season in the Xfinity Series. He led 6 laps, started 6th, finished 6th, which 666, that's kind of weird. Started in 2017. He started 16th. He finished 9th in stage 2, finished 12th. 2018 started 6th, finished 7th, and led no laps.
So it's not that good in Homestead. What's his average start?
Average start of 13th, average finish of 14.11. Not the best for Allgaier.
No, and he's driven for 3 different teams. He never finished top 10 for Penske the 3 years. He's never even finished top 10 for Steve Turner in the races.
Nope.
In fact, his first top 10 was in
6th
in his first start
with Junior Motorsports.
Yeah, it took a long time.
Mm-hmm.
That's a little worrisome if you're an Allgaier fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, really not good.
So yeah, with that said, he's got to step up the game. He does have good qualifying runs though. If you look at 2011, 5th, 6th in 2012, and he's got 2 more 6th place starting spots in the last 3 years, a 6th in 2016 and 2018. So he qualifies better than his finishing results. There you have it for Justin Allgaier from Riverton, Illinois. And yeah, there it is. Our 4 drivers in the Final 4 at Homestead. This is another tight group of very skilled race car drivers from different backgrounds. 2 from California, 2 from the Midwest, 1 from Illinois, and the other from Oklahoma. Oof. And I just realized something. All of the drivers have reappeared in the Final 4. Bell, Custer, Reddick were 3 of the 4 drivers last year in the Final 4. The other was Daniel Hemrick.
Which Hemrick is in the NASCAR Cup Series. Which
Allgaier was in the Final 4 twice before, unlike the 2 other drivers, back in 2016, which championship was won by Daniel Suarez and Joe Gibbs Racing, and then 2017 won by William Byron Junior Motorsports.
Yep.
So without further ado, let's talk about our predictions. Who will win the championship?
Ooh, my championship pick. He has the best average finish at Homestead. He won there in 2017. He finished 2nd there last year. He drives the 00 Stewart-Haas racing car, which is a Ford. Cole Custer will win the championship at Homestead.
It's tight, man. You think Cole Custer? I'm going with Tyler Reddick. Just how fitting could you complete a season so strong and so determining? And Tyler Reddick, it's not the 5 wins that impressed me. It's the 23 top 5s, 26 top 10s, and that his average finish is 6.5.
Yeah.
That's like, I know I'm jumping ship here to supercars, but that's like Scott McLaughlin's average start and average finish. It's like so tight, you know. In fact, Tyler Reddick has finished outside the top 16 twice in 32 races. That's impressive.
Yeah, I think all signs point to Reddick right now, personally.
You know, I'm gonna have to go ahead and break the ice and say Christopher Bell will finally win the championship. He's failed multiple times. You know, I honestly feel like he's just gonna do it this year.
All right, let me give you my reasoning on why. First, I'm going to tell you why each driver isn't winning the championship. We'll start off with Christopher Bell. He sucks at Homestead. That plain and simple. Which is kind of weird considering dirt drivers are actually really good at Homestead. So the fact that Christopher Bell kind of sucks there is kind of surprising. So that's number 1.
Yeah.
Justin Allgaier, he's never really been up front at Homestead either. So, and like, unless JRM brings him a rocket ship, which we've seen this year, Allgaier's really been the only one who actually like been able to contend for wins, and even then, that's very infrequent.
Yeah, that's a good point because it's so tight. How do you take one from another?
So it's going to be now between Cole Custer and Tyler Reddick.
It's
Bell,
really
do not rule him out.
anybody's race if you think about it.
Yeah,
Allgaier's gonna have to work a little harder though.
Yeah,
That's
I
just
mean,
my take.
no one thought Tyler Reddick would win the championship last year, and then here we are still.
We undermined Tyler Reddick. We said, "Oh, that's just a fluke." He
I
might
agree.
even do worse at RCR. Someone might said he might do worse at RCR. Look at him. He surpassed 1/3 of his number of top fives from last year to this year. We're looking at a two-time champion, guys.
I'm going to go with. I originally went with Tyler Reddick, and Tyler Reddick is my guy in the Xfinity Series, but I'm going to go with Coleslaw Custard for one reason only: Mike Shiplett.
Oh, Mike Shiplett, yeah. He is a good crew chief.
Very strategic.
You
Ah.
combine Cole Custer's talent at Homestead with, because think about it. If Cole Custer's crew chief didn't like put him so far ahead on the track, he would be the 2018 champion.
Mhm.
So the only reason Tyler Reddick is a champion in the Xfinity Series is because Cole Custer because Jeff Mendering is a crap crew chief.
Yep, he's currently Brandon Jones.
So when you have an upgraded crew chief, a driver who's extremely skilled at Homestead, and Mike Shiplett has promised Cole Custer the fastest car he's ever driven in his career at Homestead. I mean, unless Cole Custer like has a mechanical failure, I think it's his championship.
Right. And like I said, back to when I was talking about the Cup Series, no car is ever immortal.
Yeah.
I personally,
You know what? I'm gonna have to go ahead and change my pick. You really truly changed my mind with Christopher Bell, Armani. I'm gonna have to go with Cole Custer.
I'm
Don't rule him out,
predicting-
though.
I'm predicting we're gonna see T-Rex car 4.0 because it seems like we've been seeing like 3 or 4 T-Rex cars this season.
Choo choo.
I really don't think it's that clear on who's gonna win.
I think I don't know, man. Mike Shiplett is one of the best crew chiefs in the Xfinity garage, and
He may be a good crew
possible.
chief, but what puts it down at the end of the day is the driver. And we
Cole
have 4 powerhouses that are, I mean, they're all powerhouses, and I don't really, I could see either one of them winning.
Oh yeah, at the end of the day, any 4 of them can win the championship. I just like Cole Custer's odds over everyone else's.
It's really tough. But there's also a 300-mile race to be ran and 34 other cars besides these 4 championship picks. Who will win the Ford 300?
Cole Custer, like I said, T-Rex car is coming again.
It's hard not to pick the champion. I'm
Yeah,
picking
it's
Tyler
hard not-
Reddick.
Yeah. For me, it's Cole Custer.
Cole Custer is definitely
If we had Kyle Busch in the race, Kevin Harvick, then that would be another story. But
but no leeches
No.
this year in the final
No.
final race.
so I think you got to be secure with your Final Four pick, to be honest. Blake, who do you have?
I have Reddick. I think all signs point to Reddick.
I think we got everybody for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. All right, may the best win. Now let's get into the Gander Outdoors Truck Series. For their final race of the 23 race tour, the Ford EcoBoost 200 at Homestead Miami Speedway. Last year, Brett Moffitt took the win and the title. The first race was ran back in 1996, won by Dave Rezendes. Most wins, there's only 2 different winners at Homestead. It's a diverse track for some reason when it comes to winners, because only Kyle Busch and Todd Bodine are the 2 multiple winners with 2 apiece. Most wins for a team. Kyle Busch Motorsports has 4 wins over Ultra Motorsports with 3, Germain Racing with 2, and Thor Sport with 2 apiece. Most make wins, 9 for Toyota. 5 wins for Ford and Chevrolet, and 3 for Dodge. Let's talk about the championship for the Gander Outdoors Truck Series 2019 championship. So we have 4 drivers with 4 different backgrounds. And we're going to go one by one on each of them at Homestead Miami Speedway, starting with Brett Moffitt, the 2018 champion. Brett Moffitt in
Average.
2018, he led, never mind, he won 6 times. Oh, yeah, he drove for Shige Hattori in a number 16 Toyota, won 6 times, finished in the top 5 13 times, 13 top 10. So he basically matched his top 5s. Led 269 laps. Started, his average start was 11.7, average finish of 8.9. And in 2019, he comes into the Final Four with 4 wins, 12 top 5s, 16 top 10s, 3 poles. Of course, now he's with GMS Racing in the 24 Chevrolet. Led 449 laps, so he surpassed 2018. And he has an average start of 4.5 and an average finish of 9.4 or 9.0. So let's take a look at his stats at Homestead Miami Speedway in the Gander Outdoors Truck Series. At Homestead, he only ran 1 race, and that happened to be the one that mattered most. Started 5th, finished 1st,
Yep.
and led 59 laps.
Yep. Really solid for Brett Moffitt at Homestead. 1 race ran.
So that's very impressive for Brett Moffitt. Of course, he should be a threat to win title number 2. Let's move on to the next driver, Ross Chastain from Alva, Florida. Ross Chastain, this is his best run in any of NASCAR's top 3 divisions. He has 3 wins this year, 9 top 5s, 18 top 10s, a pole, led 555 laps. He's average start 11.0, average finish 8.8. And let's take a look at his past Truck Series races at Homestead Miami Speedway. He has 5 prior races. Driving for RSS Racing in 2011, he started 36th, finished 27th, and finished 2 laps down. 2012, he drove for Bobby Dotter, started 18th, finished 10th on the lead lap. 2013, he drove for Brad Keselowski Racing, which was a Penske affiliate truck team back then. Started 5th, finished 8th, led 2 laps. 2014, Ross Chastain drove for Kevin Sawinski. Started 3rd, finished 11th on the lead lap in the number 35 Toyota. And his most recent start in the Truck Series was for Nice Motorsports last year. Number 38, he started 7th and finished 16th. 1 lap down.
His average start is 13.8. His average finish is 14.4. Yeah.
Not the worst, but not the best.
Which some of those trucks, except the Brad Keselowski truck and the Wintron truck, RSS, no, they're not the best team out there in the trucks back then. So some of the teams he drove for were garbage. Not the best top tier. Some of the teams he was not driving like a top tier ride. He was driving for like smaller teams.
Right. We didn't see the flower blossom completely just yet. Now let's move on to the next driver, and it's Stuart Friesen from Niagara-on-the-Lake, Ontario. And he is in the Final Four driving for Halmar Racing. And he has 3 starts at Homestead Miami Speedway. His first race, they drove for all the same, for the same owner. It was 2016. He started 25th and finished 29th, finishing 6 laps down. In 2017, Ross Chastain, Stuart Friesen.
Ross Chastain.
I don't know why I'm kind of hanging on to Chastain for some reason. Stuart Friesen started 9th, finished 7th on the lead lap. And last year, Friesen started 2nd, finished 4th. Didn't lead a lap, but
his average start is 12th. Average finish of 13.3 for Friesen at Homestead. Not bad stats at Homestead for Friesen. Really not bad stats for Stuart Friesen at Homestead, Miami.
I think he'll definitely be a pick. And the fourth of the 4 drivers for the NASCAR Truck Series Final Four is the one that has the most experience and is the oldest of them all.
18 races.
43 years of age. Let's talk about his 2 Truck Series titles for a moment. In fact, he has the most races ran by any driver. His championships were consecutively with the old format, which was just points from start to finish. 2013 and 2014. So his first championship in 2013, he won one race, top 5 7 times. He had 19 top 10s, no poles, led 87 laps. I believe that's the shortest number of laps led by a champion. Finished first in the points. His average start was 10th, average finish 7.9. And in 2014, when he went back-to-back in the championship, Matt Crafton had 2 wins, 13 top 5s, 17 top 10s, 0 poles, just like 2013. But this time he led a lot more laps. 298 laps were led. Finished first in the points. His average start, average finish matched at 7 apiece. 7.7 average start, 7.0 average finish. So it definitely risen a little bit. And now here we are in 2019. And let's take a look at his stats so far. Matt Crafton has no wins, 6 top 5, 17 top 10s, 3 poles, 35 laps led, average start of 7.3, average finish of 9.1. And now it's time to have a glance at the track's history at Homestead Miami Speedway. In fact, I think Matt Crafton has ran a race before the 2003 redesign, which is true.
2001 and 2002, he's ran.
So we'll go one by one each race. In fact, he's driven all races for the same team in the same truck, number 88, except for 2004.
He drove the number 6, but in 2003 he drove the 98.
Oh, you got a little catch, but it was for the same team. So let's take a look at 2001, which he started 15th, finished 26th, 3 laps down.
Yep.
2002 was the last race with the old flat banked corners before the redesign. He started 10th, finished 9th, 1 lap down.
2003, he started 17th, finished 15th. 2004,
only race without Thor Sport.
He started 2nd, led 23 laps to finish 5th. Really solid. When he came back to Thor Sport,
that was for Kevin Harvick Incorporated, by the way, an RCR affiliate back then.
In 2005, he came back to Thor Sport. He started 10th and finished 10th, did not lead a lap. 2006, started 20th, finished 12th. 2007, started 31st, finished 12th. 2008, started 23rd, finished 17th, led a lap. 2009,
gets better.
Started 7th, finished 2nd. 2010, started 7th, finished 6th. 2011, started 11th, led 2 laps, finished 19th. 2012, started 9th, finished 12th. 2013, led 12 laps, started 8th, finished 21st. That's when he won his first championship. 2014, started 6th, finished 9th, led 0 laps, but won the championship. 2015, he started on the pole, led 93 laps, and won. 2016, started 4th, finished 7th, led 10 laps in that race. 2017, started 8th, finished 6th, led no laps. 2018, started 22nd, led 4 laps to finish 6th. And his average start is 11.8, and his average finish is 10.83.
So yeah, there you have it. Matt Crafton has the most enriching experience of the 4 truck drivers going into Homestead.
Yep.
Now, let's answer the question. Who wins the 2019 Gander Outdoors Truck Series title?
I'm going to have to go with Brett Moffitt, man. The guy's a threat to win 2 in a row. Okay?
Me too. He's too solid.
My pick.
Can I just say mine real quick first?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
you could go.
I picked Stuart Friesen.
Okay. Ooh.
Stuart
My-
Friesen. A dark horse.
My
Yeah.
pick, for me, my pick, he's won the last race. He does really well recently. He's doing good. He won at Phoenix. He has a good average. His average is not bad. But for me, Stuart Friesen will win the championship and be the first Canadian champion in NASCAR. I think. Wait, in NASCAR Truck Series history.
I feel like you're saying it just because he's Canadian.
Well, that is true.
Listen, Stuart Friesen is understandably strong, though.
Yeah.
He's
He is.
very solid. In
Yeah.
fact, I think Stuart Friesen, if he doesn't win the championship, he will be second in the playoffs. Look at 12 top fives and 16 top tens.
Yeah. Really
He's already reached 23, and we're only at 70 races of his career.
Yeah.
That's very impressive. He's solid with a capital S, but I just think Brett Moffitt is too solid. Like, he's so good. He takes everything, on a positive note. I just think Brett Moffitt will defend the title, and plus he's working twice as hard. Many agree he should be in the Cup Series. I'm no exception to them. Listen, I think Moffitt's ran enough years and down. I think
He's
trying to prove a point. So Brett Moffitt will win the title.
We never know. It's Homestead. It could be like 2017, where it's just green flag runs and no yellows. Remember that race where there was not even a yellow and Chase Briscoe won that race? There was only the stage yellows, but
Which brings me to the next question: who wins the Ford 200?
the Ford 200. For some reason, my
It
pick.
honestly has to be. It honestly has to be a championship
Well,
contender.
I'm going with Johnny
2017
Sauter on that.
remember
Johnny Sauter.
Well, 2017 was a non-Chase driver that won. It was Chase Briscoe. But my pick for the 2019 Ford 200, my pick, I feel like Austin Hill will win at Homestead.
That truck won last year.
He won the season opener. He'll win the season finale at Homestead.
I'm going with Matt Crafton.
Oh.
My pick will be Grant Enfinger. Actually, Johnny Sauter.
My pick.
I feel like Enfinger might finish second, though.
Well, you never know. We'll have to see because it's Homestead. People will be too crazy and doing.
It's a
Maybe
driver's track. It reminds me
Yeah.
of the old Atlanta Motor Speedway.
But don't pull it. Don't do
Speaking
an
of
Elliott
gimmicks.
Sadler. Don't do an Elliott Sadler. That's just don't do that in the corners.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on. If we want to talk about gimmicks in NASCAR, the first gimmick really started back in 2003 when Homestead reconfigured it to basically be basically going from a 1.5 mile and a half Indianapolis to basically the former reconfiguration of Atlanta. That can be considered the first real gimmick in NASCAR before the chase.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. So without further ado, I think we got all our Homestead picks for the Truck Series in. Let's move on to another style of racing because we got more racing going on this weekend than just NASCAR. Let's talk about Formula One for round 20 of 21 of the Brazilian Grand Prix and the famed Interlagos. Lewis Hamilton won the race last year, but the first race was 1973, won by Brazil's own Emerson Fittipaldi. Most wins, Alain Prost has 6. And I'm not counting the non-championship race in 1972, won by Carlos Reutemann. But let's move on. Alain Prost has 6 wins, with Michael Schumacher sitting with 4 victories. Carlos Reutemann and Sebastian Vettel have 3 wins apiece. Emerson Fittipaldi, Nelson Piquet, Nigel Mansell, Ayrton Senna, Mika Hakkinen, Juan Pablo Montoya, Felipe Massa, Mark Webber, Nico Rosberg, and Lewis Hamilton all have 2 wins apiece. As for constructors, for the most wins, McLaren sits on that with 12. Ferrari has a chance to tie that with 11 wins. Williams with 6. Red Bull, Mercedes tied with 4. While Brabham Renault, and Benetton have 2 wins apiece. So we're in the second to last race of the F1 championship. The champion is already crowned, but there's still positions to grab in the constructors and for some other positions left in the driver's title. Where do we stand here?
Ooh.
What are we doing? We're picking Formula One picks.
Yeah, we're talking F1. We're just getting into the Interlagos circuit. It's a very famous track, and
I'm
too bad
gonna
their
go
features on
with
circuit
Max-
there.
I'm gonna go with Max Verstappen. Should've
Many
won the
say he
race
should have won last year.
He should have won last year before Ocon, decided to prove something.
He wanted TV time, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the only time he's ever gonna get TV. That's not his fault. Just Force India.
Well, he'll be
But
racing for
I'm going
Renault
with Max
next year.
Verstappen. He should have won the race last year. He's got some momentum after that podium at Circuit of the Americas after what's basically been a slump ever since his German Grand Prix victory. So I'm going with Verstappen.
I think- Danny?
I'm gonna have to go with Valtteri Bottas to win at Brazil. My first time picking him.
Oh.
The thing's your first time not picking Lewis Hamilton.
Hey.
Yes.
Well, my pick.
Can we make a rule where you can't pick Lewis Hamilton no more than twice in a
My
row?
What's
pick-
that supposed to mean?
Wait.
How many times
It
do we
means, like,
skip Scott
everyone picks Lewis
McLaughlin and
Hamilton.
Lewis Hamilton every week?
Well,
Because I just know
Finish up,
they're
Justin.
just
Let's
that
hear Justin.
dominant.
my pick. I hope people don't call me crazy. He's never
No pretzels.
He's never ran at this racetrack at all, which is not the good thing. I don't think he never ran. This is his first F1 season. Alexander Albon will win at Brazil.
He would make the fans in Thailand rise and of joy. That would be a
You know what?
historic win.
George Russell's winning.
Okay. That ain't gonna fly. I know Williams has 6 wins, but we're in a complete different era.
Yeah.
No, Toro Rosso's gonna win.
They have
Fine.
one
Toro
win.
Rosso.
Our
constantly.
Lord and Savior, Pastor Maldonado.
No.
If you're gonna
Okay.
pick
Ay,
Pastor Maldonado,
Time to exit the utopia. Let's land back in reality. Who is winning the Brazilian Grand Prix?
Mike Harmon.
Let's get serious on this.
if he's
Okay,
picking,
okay,
if he's
okay.
picking
Let's
Pastor
get
Maldonado,
serious.
I might as well pick Ayrton Senna.
Let's get serious on this.
Okay, seriously, guys. Who's winning the race?
It's Albon.
So you got Albon.
Yep.
Who has Hamilton? Was that you, Danny? Or no,
No, Danny got
Armani,
Bottas.
you had Verstappen.
Yeah, I have
Dan-
Verstappen, Danny had Bottas, Joseph had not Joseph, Justin had Albon.
I'm gonna pick my favorite driver, Sebastian Vettel.
Oh God, that's not gonna go well.
I don't
Hey,
know.
I
think
mean
he's-
Sebastian Vettel does have.
Well,
I don't see it. I thought he already had just like 2 wins there.
you'll see what. Well, remember.
Oh, he does. Wait. No, wait. Did I? No, that's Mansell.
Mansell.
Okay, so I'm in a little utopia of my own, but yeah, there we have it. Let's talk about the next. Oh, Blake.
I didn't pick
Yeah.
mine. My pick. I'm gonna pick Verstappen.
Okay.
Yeah, especially because he has unfinished business after what happened last year.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, moving on. Let's talk about a very special race this weekend. In fact, we got 2 special races coming up. One is taking place in China. The other is taking place in Texas. Let's talk first of all about. We'll get into the special event later. Let's talk about the final race of the 2019 24H Series race season at the 24 Hours of Coda. This is not your traditional 24-hour race. In fact, it's a 2-parted 12-hour race. So basically, the time frame is as if it's a 12-hour race on Saturday, and then they have a sleep break from Sunday. They wake up Sunday, and then they get back in their cars for Sunday for another 12-hour style race.
Yep.
What happens is what they do is the timing and scoring. So basically, you have one car, just like just like any race, you have one car, and the timing and scoring doesn't change from day 1 to day 2. So let's say you're minus 4 laps at the end of day 1. Day 2 starts with you minus 4 laps. You know what I mean? You don't magically end up on the lead lap. And that's the 24 hours of COTA.
Yep.
And that completely makes sense.
Well, the problem about the 24 hours of COTA, we usually get so many entries. There's only 30 entries listed so far, which
This
we
isn't
don't
a big race
but
like the 24 hours of Dubai, for example, which we
But
have in January.
but do we usually only have 30 entries?
Kind of. Not like I said, in sports car racing, no two races have the same level of importance. 24 hours of Dubai has more importance. Say like the 24 hours of Portimao or the 12 hours of Spa may have more importance than the 24 hours of COTA.
Doesn't the 24 hours of Dubai sometimes end up having almost like 100 cars?
Yes, because it's proving grounds. It's the first big race of the calendar year in motorsports. It's usually like the first or second weekend of the calendar year. And it's proving grounds, especially for new factory drivers to teams such as Aston Martin Racing or Mercedes AMG, Porsche, you name it. And especially for guys that bring their own TCR touring cars in there. So it's very affordable. It's easy to obtain a ride in the 24H series. And the reason for the only 30 entries there, because there's another special race taking place this weekend on the other side of the globe. We'll talk about that later.
13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20,
Justin's doing a count.
23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. 29 entries.
Oh, really?
Yeah, only 29.
And how many classes?
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 different classes, which Cup 1, there's only one car in that class.
What class?
The Cup 1 class. Only one car.
Which cup is Cup 1? I always get confused which cup is each one.
I don't know. There's Cup 1, TCR, GT4s, there's the 991 class, SPX, A6, A6AM, A6AM, and A6 Pro. A6 Pro is the fastest, but only one car in Cup 1, which is a class name, I guess. There's only one car, so he's going to win in that class, most likely.
So I'm pretty sure those are just confirmed entries.
Because
there may be kind of show up entries.
It's very easy to bring your own TCR entry, your own touring car.
Yeah, that's basically what I would call just like a show up entry.
Yeah, bring what you brung.
It's
Yeah.
a provisional entry list so far. Yeah, that's on the.
That's all that's been confirmed. 29 cars.
Okay, so in there's a reason for that. A lot of people are staying in China. A lot of the bigger name drivers in sports car racing are staying in China because there's 3 consecutive weeks of big races taking place over there. Because there is one very interesting race at one of the most unique racetracks around the world that is happening this weekend, and it's the Macau Grand Prix. Where do we even start with Macau?
I mean, it's the only street circuit in the world that has a 1-lane section.
Wait, what? Oh my god.
So the Macau Grand Prix, I think this track is the most bizarre circuit in the world. And in fact, I think you need guts, G-U-T-S, guts, to race the Macau Grand circuit, even on a warm-up lap. And I don't know how they do it on motorbikes.
Wait.
It's insane. What's up, Justin?
I think there's 6 different races because there's 6 entry lists for different things.
That's probably for the same class.
There's
We'll get into that later.
Yeah,
We'll get into that a bit later when we find out more information about the 24 hours of COTA. But let's get back into the Macau Grand Prix. Tell us about that circuit.
Wait.
Like I said, there's only there's a section where there's only one lane, and
Oh,
to my knowledge, that's the only street circuit in the world that even has that.
There's
And
that tight hairpin too.
there's actually even a rule where there's they treat it like a pit lane almost, with a speed limit on that one lane section.
Really?
No passing allowed.
It's crazy.
oh,
You know, we had that one crash last year. Sophia
Oh.
Flores
oh,
was
yeah.
critically injured, and luckily
Oh, yeah.
she
Oh,
she almost lost her life in that crash. In fact, a track
Yeah.
marshal had to duck. It was so violent into the turn, and she suffered, according to Wikipedia and according to theguardian.com/sport, Sophia Flores suffered a spinal fracture after her Formula 3 car became airborne, losing control into the Lisboa corner, jumping into the catch fence, and striking a photographer's bunker.
oh.
And in fact, the first fatality was Dodhi Laurel in 1967 when his car lost control and he hit the wall. And Philip Yao died in a WTCC spec event in a Chevy Cruze touring car invitational when he hit the Mandarin Oriental wall, which is turn 2, at speeds over 200 kilometers an hour, and the car went on fire,
Oh.
and the driver unfortunately died shortly after the hospital. And motorcycle fatalities include Shea Lun Sang, 1973, Lam Sai Kwan, 1977, Chan Waichi, 1983, Tong Sai Wing in 1993, Katsura Totori in 1994, Bruno Bonhua in 2005, Louis Carrera in 2012, and Daniel Hegarty 2 years ago in 2017.
Ooh.
And the GUI circuit is 3.8 miles or 6.2 kilometers,
Yep.
and the minimum width is only 7 meters,
Wow.
according to the source article that is shown on Wikipedia. It's so challenging because there's portions of the track where it spaces out like your normal street circuit, right? You got to have your car set up for multi-purposes. And
Yeah.
how do I explain it?
I mean, there's, like you said, there are actually some pretty wide sections where you can really go just balls out, flat out. And then there's these tight sections where, I mean, you have to be getting really close to those walls, but at the same time, you have to be, it's like a controlled aggression. And you have to be absolutely precise. Even more so than, I would say, Monaco. It's even
No, Monaco is actually a manageable track because it's more consistent with the corners. But Macau is outrageously different. It's like 3 circuits in one.
Yeah, I would say this circuit is even more difficult, possibly, than Monaco.
I think, in my opinion, this is the number 1 most difficult track entirely for in racing altogether. So for the races that will take place at the Great Circuit, there's many races going on. So, of course, we have the traditional Formula 3 Grand Prix, which will take place. We'll have the FIA GT3 Cup, which is a GT3 competition. The traditional Motorcycle Grand Prix. We have the Great Race WTCR, which is the World Touring Cars. Road Sport Challenge. We'll have CTM Touring Cars, which is, I believe, the Chinese Touring Car Championship. We'll have the CTM Cup, Super 1600, and the Chinese Cup, which will take place there. It's it's a really challenging track. I feel like there you have. Let's talk about the former winners, by the way.
Excuse me, just for a second. We also have the FIA GT World Cup.
Yes. Let's get into the Macau Grand Prix. So the winner from last year was Dan Tickdom, and of course the first race was back in 1954, won by Eduardo de Carvalho, and the most wins John McDonald with 4, Arsenio Laurel with 2, tied with John Russell, Verns Chapin, Ricardo Pitosa, Jeff Lees, Adoro Majara, Felix Rosenquist, Antonio Felix de Costa, and Dan Tickdom, who won the race last year. So there's a variety of names here, some more or less famous than others. We start with just the entries coming into this year.
Oh no.
I wonder if there's an entry list
Yes.
for that.
You know the Macau Grand Prix. What's the main event? Is the Formula 3 Grand
Oh, there's
Prix?
various events. The main event could really just be the. So let's go into each one of them. In fact, I have the link. I'll send it to.
I already have this on my phone.
I'm putting in the
So
chat for the rest of you
There
guys.
are, if you wanted entry lists, there are entry lists on the official site.
I sent the link to you on StreamYard.
Wait, by the way, you know the winner last year?
Dan Tickdom.
He is not even racing.
Okay, so here's what we have here. I'm just reading off the names for the Formula 3 World Cup. So for the Formula 3 World Cup, we have Marcus Armstrong from New Zealand driving the SJM Theodore Racing by Prema. We have Frederick Visti from, is that Denmark?
Yep, Denmark.
Denmark for the same team, as well as Robert Schwartzman from Russia. So they'll drive for SJM Theodore Racing by Prema. For High Tech, I like the order. I like how they put the order for every team. For High Tech Grand Prix team, we have Yuri Vips from Estonia,
Okay.
Max Furtrell from Great Britain, and Yuki Tsunoda from Japan.
Yep.
Let's move on to ART Grand Prix. This team has 3 drivers. We have Christian Lundgaard from Denmark, Ferdinand Hatzberg from Austria, and Sebastian Fernandez from Spain. For Trident Motorsport, they have 3 drivers. Oliver Caldwell from Britain, David Beckman from Germany, and Alessio Lorandi from Italy. Now on to HWA Race Lab. This team has 3 drivers. Jake Hughes, not the hockey player, from Great Britain. Kevon Andres from Ireland. And Sophia Florish from Germany, which, of course, she was on the headlines for the wrong reasons last year, but I'm glad she's back, and hopefully she'll win the race. For MP Motorsport, we have Lucas Dunner, Liam Lawson. Dunner is from Austria. Lawson is from New Zealand. And Richard Verschoor is a Dutch driver. All right. These are a lot of teams. So moving on to the next team, we have Genzer Motorsports. Arjun Maini, he's from India. And then we have Honcho Leong from Macau. And Andreas Estner from Germany. From the Sauber Junior team by Charu, we have Callum Ilott from Great Britain, David Schumacher from Germany, wonder if he's related to the great Michael Schumacher, and Enzo Fittipaldi from Italy. I would like to see if he's related to Emerson and Christian.
Hey, by the way,
I can do some quick Google searches on that.
All right, let's go in. We have two more teams, Essen. For Carlin Buzz Racing, we have Logan Sargent from the U.S., Felipe Drogovic from Britain, and Dan Ticktum,
Yeah.
last year's winner, two-time winner from the UK. And the last team is Campos Racing. We have Alessandro Delita from Italy, Inam Ahmed from Great Britain, and Leonardo Pulcini from Italy. Let's move on to the next race for the Macau Grand Prix.
GT World Cup.
So, from a quick Google search, David Schumacher actually is blood related to Michael Schumacher, but not his son. He is the son of his brother Rolf.
Oh. Okay.
Interesting.
So that would make him the nephew of the 7-time world champion.
What about Fittipaldi?
Fittipaldi,
Enzo Fittipaldi.
Enzo Fittipaldi. I'm searching it right now. Enzo Fittipaldi. The grandson of Emerson Fittipaldi. So yes.
Yeah.
So we have a new generation
Yeah.
that have ties to I mean, like, they're just the new generation of the greats. Hopefully they will be as good as their what's the word? Their previous generations were.
All right, we're going to look at the next entry list for the Macau Grand Prix, which is the FIA GT World Cup. And we'll do it team by team. For Phoenix Racing, driving an Audi R8 LMS is Christopher Haas from Germany. Adderley Fong from Hong Kong will drive for the Zun Motorsport crew in the Mercedes AMG GT3.
Yep.
Charles Wirtz from Belgium will drive for Team WRT.
Ooh.
And Dries in an Audi R8 LMS. Dries Van Toor from Belgium will drive for the Audi Sport Team WRT and the Audi R8 LMS. Kelvin van der Linde will drive for, he's from South Africa, will drive for Audi Sport Team Ronick and the Audi R8 LMS. Augusto Farfus Jr. from Brazil will drive for BMW Team Schnitzer and the M6
Schnitzer?
GT3. Yes. And then let's see what else we have here. Wei Cheng from China will drive for Audi Sport Team Asia, TSRT.
Yep.
And then we have two Mercedes AMG Team Craft Bamboo Racing AMG GT3s. We have Eduardo Morata from Switzerland and Alessio Piccarello
From Belgium.
from Belgium. And let's move on to the next group of drivers. Joel Eriksson from Sweden will drive for the FIST Team AAI in the BMW M6 GT3. Rolf Bruins, I like that last name. I'm wearing a Bruins hat. Will drive for Solite Indigo Racing. He's from Korea.
Ooh, bro,
And a Mercedes
Two row racing
AMG
cars.
GT3. Go Bruins.
But look, two
Who-
row racing cars, two Porsche 911 GT3s,
Earl Bammer, the Kiwi.
and Lawrence Van Toor from Belgium in the 99 for row racing.
Porsche 911 GT3Rs. Let's move on to Mauro Angel from Germany driving the Mercedes AMG Team Group AM Racing.
Yep.
And Alexandre Imperatoni, who is a Swiss he's a Swiss Chinese driver for Absolute Racing and the Porsche 911 GT3R, as well as teammate Kevin Estra, factory driver for Porsche from France. And last but not least, we have Rafael Marciello
Yep.
from Italy and Mercedes AMG GT3 for team for Group AM Racing.
Hmm.
So let's look at the third race for the Macau Grand Prix. This one is the Sun City Group Macau Guia Race FIA WTCR. This is a touring car race. And listen to this. Right away, we have a veteran, Gabriel Tarquini. He's been racing touring cars for a lot of years. And he'll drive for a Hyundai i30N TCR. Norbert Michelins from Hungary will drive for the same team and the same Hyundai. Luca Engstler from Germany will drive in the Hyundai i30N TCR. Our first Honda Civic we have is driven by Attila Tassi from Hungary for KCMG. All right, next team we have from the Netherlands, we have Niels Langsveld. Come to you, Team Audi Sport, in the Audi RS3 LMS.
Oh my god.
And then we have T. Bjork from Sweden, driving the Sion Racing Link Company, which is the Link in CO03 TCR, which used to be the Volvo team with Polestar Racing. He come from Sweden. Thiago Monteiro. If you remember this guy, he was the man spraying the champagne back in the 2005 controversial U.S. Grand Prix. Remember that?
Oh.
Yes. He's driving for KCMG in a Honda Civic along with from Hong Kong native Jim Cato for KCM Motor Group. I believe that's the same thing as KCMG in the Honda Civic. And then we have their first Seat of the race. That is Arlid Panis. I'm not sure if he's related to Olivier, but he's driving in a Seat Cupra TCR. Frederik Versvich from Belgium will drive the number 22 Audi RS3 LMS. Mehdi Benani will drive the Volkswagen Golf GTI TCR. And he is from Morocco.
So,
Yep.
sorry to interrupt, but I just did a quick Google search on Aurelien Panis. Apparently, he actually is the son of Olivier.
Oh.
Wow.
Okay.
So that adds a third to our next generation.
All right, let's move on. Move on to the next driver we have is Nestor Girolami from Argentina in a Honda Civic. And then Kevin Secon from Italy, driving Team Mulsanne in the Alfa Romeo Giulietta TCR. Benjamin Luchter from Germany will drive the SLR Volkswagen Golf GTI. Billy Lo Kai Fung from Macau will drive for the Tianchi Zuber team in the Audi RS3 LMS. Then we have two Seats coming up here, a Swedish driver and a Dutch, Daniel Halgoff for PWR Racing, and Tom Cornell from the Netherlands in driving for the Come to You DHL Team Cooper Racing and Seat Cupra TCRs. Moving on to the list, we have Gordon Shedden driving the Leopard Racing Team Audi Sport, the Audi RS3 LMS. And then we have Ma Qinghua from China in the Team Mulsanne Alfa Romeo Giulietta TCR. From Hong Kong, we have Wang Kuai Hong for the Song Ven Racing Team Volkswagen Golf GTI TCR. And moving on the list, we have Jan Erlacher from France in the Sion Performance Link Company Link C003 TCR. Jean-Carl Vernet from France driving the Leopard Racing Team Audi Sport RS3. And then looking further in the list, this is going to be a very competitive race from what I see. Esteban Guerri from Argentina will drive the allinkel.com Munich Motorsport, the Honda Civic TCR. Nicky Katzberg from the Netherlands, who is a BMW driver, will drive a Hyundai i30N TCR in this race, while Mikkel Axona for PWR Racing will drive the last Seat Cupra TCR on this list. We have 3 Hong Kong natives. We have Terrence King Leon, James Tang Chi Long, and La Tin Fan Arthur, all driving for the same team, Team TRC and Honda Civics. And the last 2 drivers will have for Sion Racing, Yvonne Mueller and Andy Prio in the Lynx and C003 TCRs, which were previously Volvos from Polestar Racing. All right, so now let's move on to 2 wheels.
The motorcycles.
Yes, these guys are daredevils, man. You gotta give them credit.
They are.
I think driving in a car is hard enough. You think driving a car at Macau is hard enough?
Oh,
Try
yeah.
riding a bike.
Oh.
Oh, man. That's almost like... it feels almost like a death wish.
I mean, your head and the wall is so close. Give them credit when credit's due.
All right.
All right.
I can do the entry list. I have it right here if you want to take a break.
Go ahead.
Well, let me tab to it. Okay, here we go. So we have Craig Andrew Neve from Great Britain, riding for Climax Scaffolding Racing on a BMW S1000RR. Also on another BMW S1000RR, we have David Stanley Morgan from Great Britain for DM71 team. And then we have John McGuinness, also from Great Britain, for Takchung Group by PBM Ducati on Ducati V4 Panigale. And then we have Gary Trevor Johnson, yet another great British rider. Ashcourt Racing is the team he's riding for on a BMW HP4 Carbon. And then we have Michael Carl Rudder, yet another great British rider. I keep saying driver. For MGM by Bathams on a Honda RC213V. Then we have Ian Hutchinson.
Oh my God.
I'm just gonna stop saying the nationalities.
Yeah, because
No, well, they start to actually
yeah,
they actually start to
they'll be changing.
yeah, a lot of people from Great Britain on this list.
Yeah.
But I'll just let you know when it's a different nationality.
Yeah.
But Ian Hutchinson for Team Milwaukee with SMT on a BMW S1000RR. Dominic Herbertson for Dafabet Devitt Racing on a Kawasaki ZX10RR. And then we have the last great British rider in a row. We have Lee Glenn Johnston for Ashcourt Racing on a BMW S1000R. And then we have Andre Samuel Silva Pires.
Portugal.
Portugal, thank you. For Beauty Machines Racing Team on a Yamaha R1. Then we have Robert Daniel Kruger from Canada for MGM by Pens 13 on a BMW S1000R. Then we have David Ian Johnson from Australia for Takchun Group by PBM Ducati on a Ducati V4 Panigale. Then we have Paul Allen Jordan from Great Britain for Deathbed Divot Racing on a Kawasaki ZX10RR. Then we have Didier Grams from Germany for G&G Motorsport on a BMW S1000RR. Then we have Erno Juhani Costamo from, I'm guessing that's Finland,
Yeah. Yep. it is.
for MGM by Pens 13 on a BMW S1000RR. Horst Sager. And is that
This is
Austria?
Yeah, Austria.
From Austria for Sager Racing on a Yamaha R1. Robert Thomas Hodson from Great Britain for JGH Racing on a BMW S1000R. Marek Cerveni from the Czech Republic for Wepal Racing on a BMW S1000R. Raul Torres Martinez from España, Spain, for Torres Racing Team on a Kawasaki ZX10RR. Steve Hennigan from Ireland for Reactive Parts on a Ducati V4S. Samuel Edward West from Great Britain for PRL on a BMW S1000RR. Michael Matthew Sweeney, Ireland. Martin Jones Racing, BMW S1000RR. Philip Edward Crow, Great Britain. Hand Trans Lee Jackson AC, BMW S1000RR. Davy John Todd, Great Britain. MGM Pens 13. MGM by Pens 13. Pens BMW S1000RR. Derek Shields, Ireland. Burroughs Engineering / RK Racing. Suzuki GSX-R, the only Suzuki in the field. Peter John Hickman, Great Britain. MGM by Bathams, BMW S1000RR. Brian John McCormick, Ireland. On One Racing, BMW S1000RR. And then the last rider on the list is Xavier Bernard Alexis Dennis. I try saying that three times fast. From France, Optimark by Performance X on a Honda CBR 1000 RR Fireblade.
There you have it. It's a lot of guys, and it's going to be a competitive race. We got two more categories to go through in the Macau Grand Prix.
We have the Food for Macau Touring Car Cup, which has so many entries.
Oh, really? That's it. I'm very curious.
We have Wong Wang Long from Macau with a team which is written Chinese letters.
I wish I could read it, but I mean, I can actually put it on Google Translate. I mean, I don't think we have all the time in the world, but I wouldn't mind seeing what happens.
And there's too many of them, it looks like, that are in Chinese font.
Yeah, let's just read the names that are in the race and the cars they will drive. So, driving the Mitsubishi Evo 10.
I was going to say that.
We have R34 Skylines in this.
This should be a fun race. I like what I see here. Okay. Let's start off with Long Lang Long and Mitsubishi
Evo 10 above 1950 cc's is class. Okay. Number 2, Mao Chi Fei from Macau with a unknown team name. Mitsubishi Evo 10 above 1950 cc's is class. Mitsushiro Kinoshita from Japan GTO Racing Team in a Nissan GTR R34. Or also Rio Matias Le Sabino from Macau for SLM Racing Team in a Volkswagen Golf GTI. Leong Ian Veng from Macau and Sun Veng Racing Team Mitsubishi Evo 9 is his car. Louis Mainfei from Macau driving for RPM Racing Team in a Mini Cooper S.
It's a 1600 class, first driver in the 1600cc turbo class.
Wong Hong from Macau driving a Mitsubishi Evo 10 in an above 1950cc class. Lam Wang Kuai driving from Macau.
Let me just get something straight. There's only the above 1950cc
Yeah.
class in the 16cc
Okay.
turbo class.
Driving for Fu Li Loi Racing Team in a Mini Cooper S. Alves Diaz Celio from Macau for Fu Li Loi Racing Team, driving in a Mini Cooper S again. Castillujo Lamarias Luciano driving, not driving. He's from Macau. Driving a Mitsubishi Evo 9.
Mm-hmm.
Mendonca Choi Dilfium from Macau driving for SLM Racing Team and a Mitsubishi Evo 7. Hugh Fong driving for RPM Racing Team from Macau, which he's from Macau. He's driving a Mitsubishi Evo 9. Valente Rio Manuel Iris de Sylvia George from Macau driving for Premium Racing Team in a Mini Cooper S. Leo Man Kid from Macau driving for RPM Racing Team in a Mitsubishi Cooper S. Lam Cam San from Macau driving a Mitsubishi Evo 9. Leong Chin Kin driving from Macau driving for Fu Li Lua Racing Team in a Mini Cooper S. Chan Chi Ha driving Macau driver driving for Mitsubishi Evo 9. D. Souza Philippe Clement driving from Macau driving for TA Motorsport. Audi RS3 TCR.
First Audi on the list.
Li Ka-hei from Hong Kong driving for Team TCR in a Honda Civic. J. Bada Rocco from Macau driving for Sun Veng Racing Team in a Chevrolet Cruze.
First Chevy in the list.
Poon Tak Chun Paul from Hong Kong driving for Sun City Racing Team in a Peugeot RCZ. Wong Kiang Kwan from Macau driving for SLM Racing Team in a Ford Fiesta ST.
First Ford on the list, and that's a hot hatch in the 16cc class turbo.
Xiang Ying Cherry from Hong Kong driving for Sun City Racing Team in a Supra Impreza WRX. Chan Wen Tong from Macau driving for Sun Veng Racing Team in a Chevrolet Cruze. Chiang Chin On from Macau driving for SLM Racing Team in a Ford Fiesta ST. IP Tak Meng from Macau driving for SLM Racing Team in a Peugeot RCZ. Feng Men Y Samson from Hong Kong driving for Sun City Racing Team in an Audi TTRS. Feng Quang Ping Paul
From Singapore.
driving for Feng Quang Ping Paul, his own team, in a Mini Cooper S. Feng Alexander Car Chu from Hong Kong driving for Sun City Racing Team in a Peugeot RCZ. NG King Vang from Macau driving for LSM Racing Team in an Audi RS3. Tatsuya Tang Nigawa from Japan driving for Sun Vang Racing Team in a Chevrolet Cruze. Lam Hyung Fei from Macau driving a Peugeot RCZ. De Aksun Kao Helder Amandio Noho Arava Novo from Macau drive for RPM Racing.
Some of these names, sorry to cut you off. Some of these names are
Yeah.
like from Macau. They are Chinese and Portuguese. Just
Yeah,
to let you know.
Lucen GTR R34, Lo Kai Bong, driving for Sun City Racing Team in a Peugeot RCZ, Chiang King Sang, driving for Fu Li Luang Racing Team in a Mini Cooper S, and the final entry, Sang Chi Kong from Hong Kong, driving for 778 Autosport in a Mitsubishi Evo 9.
That's a lot of entries, and we'll make our picks later on. We have one more group to talk about, and that's the Sun City Group Greater Bay Area GT Cup.
There's some teams that have
All right,
Chinese
so
again.
that's fine. At least we got the drivers' names here. This is not a big entry list, but you can see a lot of the cars are the same. Let's start off with the RPM Racing Team. We saw them in the other touring car race. They'll be starting this list off with Chiang Chi-men Daiki for the Janetta in the RPM Racing Team, Janetta G55, and then we got a pair of Lotuses for 3 different teams. We have Lai Chong Kit Brian for Hong Kong in the Lotus Exige S. We have Liang Kwok Kyun for from Hong Kong in the Top Gun GT Lotus, as well as Mac Kalok from Macau in the 3rd Lotus Exige S. Then we have Li Yang Hang from Taipei for the K2C Motorsports Janetta. And then Li Kit Meng in the Janetta G55. We have Kadori Philip Lawrence from Hong Kong and Team TRC Mercedes AMG with his teammate Kan Xiaoyi from Taipei, the Chinese Taipei, and the Team K are actually Team KRC. That's 2 different teams. Chang Ki-Ming Anthony from Top Gun GT Lotus Evora. So we got 2 different Lotuses out there, and we Long Kim Ong drive in that extra car in the Lotus Exige S. So Chan will be in the Evora, while Leong will be in the Exige. Wing Kevin will drive the first, the second Mercedes, the 3rd Mercedes on the list. Number 18. He's from Team TRC from Macau. Poon Kwan Lum David from Hong Kong, and Big Sam Aston Martin Racing, the first Aston Martin Vantage on the list. And then we go back to another Top Gun GT Lotus of Zhang Yuqing for Top Gun GT in the Lotus Exige S. Yoon Kam Cheong for Parkview Motor from Hong Kong in the Janetta G55. Moving on to this list, we have the number 25. Actually, hold on. Oh, yeah, the number 23, make that, of Shanghai from Macau. The Sung Ving Racing Team BMW M4. So our first BMW on the list, and then we got a nice pair of Lotuses coming our way. 2 team cars, number 28 and 29, both drivers from Macau, Lu Hu Fong and Ip Un Hu, driving Lotus Exiges S. 2 of them. And then the number 30, we have the Lotus Evora, Lok Chi Kit from Hong Kong, driving the Top Gun GT Racing Lotus Evora. Number 38, we have Chong Kim Pung Clairball for 852 Challengers in the Lotus Exige S. And then we have another Aston Martin on the list. Number 39, Zhang Wei Chung will drive from Taipei. He comes from Taipei for Aston Martin Racing Vantage. Chung Wing Kyung Kenny, number 55. He's from Hong Kong, driving for K2C Motorsports Janetta G55. And then number 66, we have Sung Ling Kong from Macau, driving for the Sun Veng Racing Team Lotus Exige S. Qi Ping Wen will drive number 68. He's from China for the AVM BMW M4 team. Tong Yat Him Clement from Hong Kong driving the number 82 Parkview Motor Lotus Exige S. And we got 3 more entries here. Chang Ching Sheng from Taipei, number 88 MP Racing KTM. Crossbow, the only KTM on this list. And then our last 2 drivers, we have Alpak Chen Alexander from Hong Kong, number 93 Grid Motorsport Audi R8. And the last driver on the list is the Macanese driver, De Jesus Erico, number 99 Mac Pro Racing Team Lotus Exige S. And by the way, all these entries came from the website, and they were updated at latest at October 31st. So let's go race by race. And who will win the Formula 3 Macau Grand Prix? This will be a tough one, Justin. Look at all the big names here. Enzo Fittipaldi, Sophia Flores, Jake Hughes, David Schumacher, Dan Ticktum. Where do we start?
It's tough because you also know the main event for the Macau Grand Prix is only 15 laps, which is long.
Where you start is where you finish. You don't have time here.
Yeah, so
I want to go with David Schumacher.
How fitting would that be if a Schumacher wins the Macau Grand Prix? But I think redemption is key to any storybook finish. Sophia Flores was made famous for the wrong reasons. She received international attention for a crash. And her recovery was amazing. And the first thing she said, or one of the first things she said, according to the doctors, was, I'll race again next year. Here she is. Sophia Flores will win the Macau Grand Prix.
Ooh, okay. My pick for the Macau Grand Prix. He drives for Sauber Junior team by Charu. Enzo Fittipaldi is going to win the Macau Grand Prix.
That last name is synonymous with victory. So there you have it. Now let's talk about the FIA GT World Cup. Who wins that race?
Oh,
this is a tough one. There's so many possibilities. You can throw out Christopher Haas, Kevin Estra. Who else do we have?
Earl Bamber.
Earl Bamber, great driver from New Zealand.
Kelvin van der Linde.
Oh yeah. Ooh, we're in crossroads here.
Yeah.
Augusto Farfus for the BMW.
Yeah.
I think he's the only BMW in the race. Actually, no, there's only 2.
Wait, let me see. Oh yeah, okay. If we
Farfus and Ericsson. I'm gonna go with experience, and experience is Earl Bamber.
I have a couple of names in mind here. But I might go with. I'm thinking of going with Kevin Estra.
Kevin Estra driving the number 912 Porsche. Of course, he's a Porsche factory driver.
My pick. He drives for Audi Sport Team of URT. Dries Vanthoor is going to win the FIA GT World Cup at Macau.
That's a good pick.
Dries Vanthoor, absolutely. He's related to Lawrence Vanthoor, who also drives for an Audi team. But Lawrence will not be in this race. He'll be watching his brother. So let's move into the Sun City Group Macau Guia race, FIA TCR.
Oh, you were wrong, actually. Lawrence Vanthoor is competing.
Oh, really?
Audi. Yes, he is. Or no, actually, he's in a Porsche. My mistake.
Oh,
he's in the
maybe he
World
did
Cup.
switch manufacturers.
TV.
I'm completely apologize for that, by the way.
He's actually the teammate to Earl Bamber. Lawrence is.
Oh.
Interesting. And my pick is Earl Bamber. So there you have it. Now let's talk about the FIA WTCR Sun City Group Macau Guia race. My pick is going to be someone who is raced since the 70s, since the 80s, and his name is synonymous with. Even though he's raced scored one points position in Formula One in 78 entries and 38 starts. He's raced successfully throughout his career in the BTCC and the International Touring Car Championship, the FIA. He's won the championship numerous times. He's from Italy. His name is synonymous with touring car competition, and of course with 22 wins in the World Touring Car Cup and a championship in 2009. He has won the 2018 World Touring Car Cup. He's won the 2009 World Touring Car Championship. He won the 2003 European Touring Car Championship and the 1990 Tour BTCC Cup. Yes, competing against those Volvo 850 wagons. Gabriele Tarquini in the Hyundai i30 NTCR. He may be 57 years old, but he's sure rocking it. Tarquini for the win.
And those Hyundais have proven to be fast.
Yes, they are.
So that's a good pick. Give me just a second to decide here because it's not easy. I think I'm gonna go with Ivan Muller. Very experienced driver in touring cars as well.
All right, Justin.
Okay. My pick.
Stage is yours.
My pick drives for BRC, Hyundai, and Lukoil Racing Team in a Hyundai i30 NTCR. He drives number 88. Nicky Katzberg is going to win in the number 88.
Now,
Another great driver.
BMW driver. I think that guy right there he could be the man to be. Nicky Katzberg might just be the man, but I feel like Gabriele Tarquini, I don't want to act like a bandwagoner, but I would hate not to pick him. He's just too good. So yeah, Tarquini for the win. And you just want to drive a Hyundai for some reason, do a little better. All right. Now let's move on to the next race. Let's hop on the bikes for the Sun City Group Macau Motorcycle Grand Prix, the 53rd edition. Who will win this race?
Ooh.
I'm not a motorcycle guy, but I sure will pick somebody. I'm looking around. I gotta pick someone out of a hat. I think Ian Hutchinson for Team Milwaukee with SMT BMW S1000 RR from Great Britain. The number 9 bike will ride his way to the victory circle.
Okay. My pick. He drives for MGN by Pens 13 in a BMW S1000 RR. He's the only Canadian. Robert Daniel Kruger is going to win at Macau.
I really don't know anything about any of these riders, so I'm also kind of have to pick it out of a hat here. I'm gonna go with John McGuinness on the Takchun Group by PBM Ducati.
They sound like good picks to me. So there we have it for our motorcycle Grand Prix picks. Now let's move on to the Food for You Macau Touring Car Cup. This has the most entries of any race, as I'm concerned with.
I
And
do-
so, who of these drivers will win this race? And this is also the group that has the most variety of manufacturers. I mean, we go from GTR R34s all the way to Mini Coopers and VW Golfs and Evos, Chevy Cruises, Ford Fiestas, Evos, you name it. Where are we headed?
Ooh.
You know, I think my pick. Oh yeah, let's make a pick for two classes because there's two classes. Well, let's pick our above 1950cc and our 1600cc turbo. So my above 1950cc pick is the RPM Racing Team number 18 Mitsubishi Evo 9. Chu Hu Feng will win that class.
Okay.
And my 1600cc turbo class winner will be. He drives a Peugeot RCZ number 83 from Hong Kong. We have, and for the Sun City Racing Team, Lo Kai Bong
Okay. Huh.
will win the 1600cc turbo class.
For me, my picks for the above 1950cc class, he drives for Team TCR. He's from Hong Kong. Lee Ka Hai in the number 27 will win in his Honda Civic in the above 1950cc. For my 16cc turbo, he drives for Sunvang Racing Team. He's from Japan. Tatsuya Tanigawa in a Chevy Cruze will win in the 1600cc turbo.
Wait a second. I think I've heard that name before. Tetsuya Tanagawa. I've heard it from somewhere before. I swear I've heard it. Well, anyway, my picks. Both of my picks are from the same team as Joe's, except one of the cars is different.
Let's hear it.
So for above 1950cc, hold on, where? Oh, there it is. My above 1950cc class winner is the number 77 RPM Racing Team Nissan GTR R34, driven by De Asunkau Helder Amandio Noranha Novo. Try saying that 5 times fast. And then
It's the only GTR in the field.
no, it's not.
Oh, really? Where's the other?
The other one is the number 3.
Oh, yes, I see it. There we go.
And then my 1600cc class is the same as Joe's, the number 83, driven by Lo Kai Bong, Sun City Racing Team, Peugeot RCZ.
All right, so there's one more Macau Grand Prix race taking on. Is the Sun City Group Greater Bay Area GT Cup. And this is where all the Genettas galore and the Lotuses. We have 2 different kinds of Lotuses in the race, as well as a BMW M4s and some Mercedes AMGs and a few Aston Martins here and there. This should be an interesting race. Oh, and throw in an Audi. Who wins this race? I think for my pick, I have the Lotus Exige S number 3 for Top Gun GT. Guys from Hong Kong. It's Liang Kwok Kyun.
Okay. Huh.
Keep in mind, this is GT4 class.
Yes. All right, who do you guys have?
Justin.
Okay, my pick. He drives for Team KRC in a Mercedes-Benz AMG. Ken Chi Wei is gonna win the race.
I'm gonna go with the number 19 of Poon Kwan Lum David, BSM Aston Martin Racing, Aston Martin Vantage.
Okay, so this is gonna be a really close one. I think just a GT4 single spec race should be interesting. This Macau track is really about beating. You have to race the track. You have to respect the track. If you don't respect the track will punish you. It's very unapologetic. If a wreck happens in front of you, chances are you're gonna be in.
Yeah, I mean, the headlines from 2017 were
Millions and millions of dollars of damage.
Yeah, and all in one corner.
Also, wow, 3 hours 6 minutes. Really long podcast tonight.
Yes, we had. We had a lot of content to cover, and we're sure going to cover a lot of content next week when we go over the final results of the NASCAR championships, and for everything that has happened in between. It sure will be fun. And I think with that further said,
I have to do my normal thing.
Go ahead, Justin. Go ahead.
Tune into the Cup race on NBC on Sunday. Saturday afternoon, turn into the Xfinity race on NBCSN. On Friday night, tune into the truck race, the finale. Go tune and watch the race on FS1. Macau, I don't know how you watch that yet. We'll have to figure that out. 24A series, watch that on their YouTube channel. What else?
F1.
Yep. Tune in to ESPN2.
We forgot just one thing to cover, which is the MotoGP, which I can just do really quick. Just a really quick race preview.
Go ahead.
So this weekend we also have the Valencia Grand Prix wrapping up the MotoGP championship, which is also already been clinched by Marc Marquez. But for the race preview, I'll just give you some stats here. Most wins, Danny Pedrosa with 7 for the riders. Manufacturers, most wins, Honda with 15. And the first MotoGP class race is 2002. And then the few passing zones we have that are or the best spots to pass are turn 1, which is a 90-degree, very fast, wide corner. And then we have turn 2, which is a bit of a long, sharp left-hander. And then we have turn 6. And then we have turn 14, which is that iconic corner, that iconic final corner of Valencia that is really turns. It's almost like 2 turns conjoined into one, where there is no straightaway leading up to it. It's continuous turn that sharpens a lot at the apex there. Very iconic corner, and that is, you see a lot of passes there too. So yeah, watch the MotoGP on Sunday this weekend as well, and go on, Justin, with the other events.
And yeah, and F1, you have to check that out. NASCAR, you have to check it out too. The 24 hours of COTA, the 2 12-hour races, go check those out. And we don't know about Macau yet. We don't know. We'll have to figure that out.
I think Facebook will go live with that.
Yeah, check Facebook.
Yeah, usually some nice guy provides a live stream. I think it happened last year. They streamed it on Facebook.
Yeah.
Hopefully, the
because-
same can be said. That would be nice to have a nice broadcast feed of especially for Macau. Like,
Yeah.
I'm more interested than ever on that race.
Yeah, because, but if it's like commentary from there, like their commentary, we won't understand.
Hey, it's fine.
that.
I just want to see those cars race around the track, man. That would be fun.
Oh yeah,
All right, we have everything covered.
Yeah.
yeah, I think so.
Okay,
Almost.
I gotta get to studying. I need to study my psychology. I need to learn about learned helplessness and all that cool stuff. But for now, we're signing off for episode 32 of the Below the Yellow Line podcast. For my partners Blake, Justin, and the rest, Danny, Austin LaPlante, and Armani. It's been a long one. I'm Joe, your host. Have a good one.